Let's go.
The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited.
Blessings, blessings. Let's go. Wednesday night decoding the times. Let's go. Blessings. Hit that like button.
The east is where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel.
Hit that like button.
721 BC. The Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell.
With a great
The
escape.
great escape we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still.
To a land where no mankind dwelt.
To a land where no mankind dwelt.
We went.
The 12 tribes of Israel.
That's who we be. We be Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, Naphtali from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel.
From Panama, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans.
The highest gathering Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us
To gather our wives and children and sold us.
in the belly of these great ships.
Belly of these great ships
We traveled in fear.
by the rivers of Babylon. We found our brothers here.
A higher gatherer.
In Colombia,
Whoa.
Reuben from Australia. Issachar, the Mexicans.
From the power on high.
Benjamin, the West Indians. Levi, the Haitians.
The highest gathering Israel. Oh. The Most High is gathering Israel. We're here. Wednesday night decoding the times is it's a beautiful day out there. We had rain all weekend or whatever the case is, but we're here. We are here. Wednesday night, a few days before week 1 of your Hebrew and Bible Academy. Shalom to my brothers and sisters throughout the four corners of the earth. Blessings to the elders, the bishops, the deacons, the brothers and sisters in the body. Shalom, shalom. And the Decoding the Times audience or viewers tonight. Who are you? Blessings? Which are you? Blessings to all of you in the name of Ahaya Bashim Yeshaya Wabirwap. Blessings also to you, Elder Lawya. How are you doing this evening?
Yes, sir. Shalom. I'm doing well. All praise be to the Most High. How about yourself?
I am blessed by the Almighty. I'm ready for a very, very insightful lesson or discussion tonight. There's a lot going on in the earth. Doing well. And let's jump right into it. Before going into it, I just need to remind brothers and sisters, we're in the enrollment time, right? Week 1 begins this coming Sunday. Elder Lawya, if you'd like to tell brothers and sisters what we'll be diving into with the first week of your Hebrew and Bible Academy.
Yes, sir. So the lesson for week number 1 will be the beginning of the war, the first prophecy, that first prophecy being Genesis 3 and 15. We're going to hone in on that particular prophecy, give you some understanding how it pertains to us, not only historically, but how it pertains to us in modern times and our eventual redemption. When the Bible speaks of that woman's seed, we're going to reveal who that is and how we will be redeemed from the curse that will be explained and brought forward from Genesis 3:15. And that and more is going to be brought out in that lesson again. The beginning of the war, Genesis 3:15, the first prophecy.
The beginning of the war, folks. And guess what? It's more than the surface when it comes to this war, right? It's the spirit. It's a spirit that entered this earth that seeks to drag us all to hell. That and more, we're going to dive in with this lesson. This theme for the Academy is off the chains. The seed and the serpent. The beginning of the war. The first prophecy. The rise of the rebellion before the flood. One language, one rebellion. The birth of mystery religion. There's really, folks, only one religion in the earth practiced differently by all Gentile nations. We're gonna reveal that. It'll make you think it's a bunch of religions. They're all the same at the core. Satan's religion from Babylon. We're gonna talk about that. Egypt, Canaan, and the corrupted worships. Israel, greatest battles. The kingdoms of hypocrisy. The woman and the beast, mother of harlots. The mark of allegiance. The worships controlled in the beast system. That's right, folks. You're gonna find out that these government positions throughout the earth are satanic priesthood positions. All right. Come out of them, my people. What does it mean by that? Once it's time to move and leave, what must we do? And how do we pivot throughout the earth, understanding that the whole earth will experience the woe at once? We're going to talk about that in the Academy. And then the final victory, how Christ comes at the end of it all and put a foot on it. Go to historytimes.org to enroll. We're opening this thing up for enrollments. Shabbat is chopping at the bit to get the news together. It's going to be absolutely eye-opening. If you never enrolled in the Hebrew and Bible Academy, you don't want to miss this one. Go to historytimes.org to enroll. Okay? And then check your email for the responses. We hope to see you there Sunday. historytimes.org. A new 12-week academy starts this coming Sunday. 9 a.m. Elder Lawya will dive into the news. The Hebrew 101, the Hebrew letters.
Yes, sir.
And then what? After that, myself and Elder Shabbat is going to come with the news. And then the lesson. The beginning of the war. Everyone is seeing this thing play out, black and white, racism and all that. But folks, the beginning of this warfare we're seeing in the earth through races, it started before we were born. Well, guess what? We're going back to the beginning to show you how it all began. And then at the end of the academy, we're going to show you how it all ends. Go to historytimes.org to enroll. And blessings, Elder Rawchaa and Elder Dell, who's out there supporting us. You're there for the academies and as well as moderating anytime we come on. I would be amiss if I didn't mention my brothers Rawchaa and Dell. So Elder, before jumping in, there's a lot going on in the news, and I wanted to talk just a little bit about it. Of course, brothers and sisters, hit the like button. We're going into why do people claim the book is a white man's book. Why do people claim the Bible is a white man's book? I keep hearing this. Conscious community. Even Muslims come out. We're going to talk about that tonight. Why do they keep repeating what they know is a lie? Okay? They know it's a lie. So why do they keep repeating this lie over and over again that the Bible is a white man book? And how do you know they're lying? I got a few more announcements, but I'm going to wait till y'all come in a little later because I have a great announcement for the I Am Royal Academy. Okay, but I needed a lot of people to be in for that one. Why do they keep this lie up, Elder? Right? And I want to talk about this because someone sent me a message through the phone the other day and says, Elder, I need y'all to give me a good argument for this white man is behind the Bible thing. And I was going to dive into it anyway because these conscious community people. And look, this is why AC, thank you. Thank you for putting together the visualization for tonight's topic. Thank you for this. The main people we hear with this rhetoric claiming that the Bible is a white man's book. Who do we hear dealing with this mess? Our people, black people. Either a Hotepper or a black Muslim. But is there a reason, a meticulous, conniving purpose behind them mentioning that? Claiming or trying to throw some shade at the Bible. Is there a conniving spirit behind that? And why am I saying that, Elder Lawya? Just the other day, Elder Lawya, I heard a conversation, a black or white conversation with some Hoteppers, and they was talking to a white person, right? Now, right? It came on my feed, and they was like, well, you talking about, Jesus and all the people in the Bible were black, right? So when it's convenient, they argue that the people in the Bible are black when it comes to winning an argument over white people. Right? So I was checking it out. I'm like, look at this hypocrisy. So when it's convenient to win an argument to show that you know more than a white person who believes in the Bible, you'll tell them that Jesus is black and the people in the Bible are black. But when a black person believes in the Bible, you'll tell them not to believe in the Bible, it's tampered with. What is this playing on both sides of the fence? We're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about that. The reason behind this, folks. It's going to blow you away once you're going to really understand the reason and why they did this. Right? Now, on another note, I wanted to talk about this, but I didn't have an opportunity to deal with it, being that the Academy starts next week, right? I wanted to just talk about a few things. They just found the brother, the teenage brother in Mississippi who disappeared during July 4th, right? I was going to talk about the racial component Sunday. I was going to talk about the racial components when it comes to what happened with Carmel and Anthony and all that. I was going to talk about that if we would have had the Academy Sunday. But then something else pops up, right? A brother, a black young man, let me pull up his picture here. A black teen was missing July 4th. Let me pull it up here. Okay, by the name of Nolan Wells. Went boat tripping, went out there on a boat with a few white guys, and he the only one that didn't come back. Well, folks, I'm going to tell y'all right now, if you're from the South, none of this surprises you. Okay? As many things change, some things stays the same. And I wanted to talk about that. Why? We know the rules when it comes to racial tensions down south. Right? I was born in Lake Charles, Louisiana. My father was born Newport News, Virginia. My mother was born in Raleigh, North Carolina. Okay? We know the rules down south. If a white man or person get harmed, if it's a man in particular, like what happened with the Carmelo Anthony thing. Now, even though he got jailed, that wasn't enough. We know the rules down south. If one white guy dies, guess what they count? This is the old down south unspoken rule. Okay, you kill our teenager, we get 10 of yours. That's the unspoken rule down south. We all know this. Anytime there's some racial tension going on where a white person dies, mama, papa, even in the church, they would bring everybody together and say, keep your children close to you until this calms down. But we living in this liberal world and all this, and there's a lot of different components with people from all other places who don't know the dynamic. They think it's just America, freedom. You have to understand and really, really get to the root of America's history. I knew exactly what was going to happen once that white young man that was unfortunately went. I knew what was going to happen once he died. His family going to all get together, people that they don't even know are coming together and saying, you know what? Yeah, they got one, but we're going to get 10. 10 or more. That's the rule. So what I'm saying is, brothers and sisters, we're not to be fearful, but we have to watch how we're operating out here. We really have to watch who we are in proximity with. And they're going after young guys, high school age and all of that, as a get back. We're just hearing about this one. It's unfortunate. But we always understood the rule. Now, if it's a white girl who cry wolf or get harmed, they'll burn down the whole town. Okay? So they don't feel justice was served properly. Even though the young man, Carmelo Anthony, got 35 years, it's blood for blood with Esau, folks. And when it comes to our people, if they claim that we are at the hand of murder or some injustice against them, they take 10. They'll times that by 10. So only thing I'm going to say is keep your eyes on a swivel and make sure you keep your children close to you. Okay, I wanted to put that out there. Now, next. And we'll probably be diving into this also in the Hebrew and Bible Academy. Folks, those are just the unspoken rules. The unspoken rules. Another thing. You have our people, Elder Lawya, that's standing up and not only are boycotting the Asians, Japheth right now, but they're leaning towards spending money or using their hard-earned money to circulate that amongst our people, amongst people of our ilk, instead of just the money going out to all these Asian people who aren't appreciating our spending power. Right? Now, that's not all, and I don't know what's up with it. I know it's having a great impact on the Asian businesses because they're starting to thumb their nose up to our people. Without us, they wouldn't be here, and they wouldn't be able to set up shop here. Right? So, brothers and sisters, this is what you have to look forward to them doing next, because when they came into our neighborhoods, believe it or not, it is a form of economic warfare. Okay? Warfare comes in many fashions. Economic warfare. And guess what? A lot of them know what they're here for when it comes to them being privileged as a minority over us. They know what they're here for. They get the loans to undermine and to keep us from progressing. so that they can look down on us and say, well, look, I wasn't here long and look what I got. Y'all lazy. Nah, you were actually handpicked to be a buffer to undermine God's people by the politicians who control the purse strings. They get in position, they allocate the money through the budgets, and they choose who they want to give the money to based on their political interest. That's how it works. So they'll rather give it to a foreigner because they have something over them. Citizenship. So people might ask, well, Elder, what you mean by this? You have to understand how it works. Okay? They don't want another civil rights things to go down again. Well, we stop the whole country. Look what the Asians are doing right now. They're barely making it because we made one decision. They don't want this to happen, on every level in every city. They seen what happened with Martin Luther King. Right? So what was Martin Luther King? Martin Luther King was a college graduate. He was also a preacher, which means their status transferred into political protection for us. See? He's like, and Esau started looking at that. Oh, this is grassroots. They're doctors. They're lawyers. They're entertainers. They're preachers. Their whole political movement is operating from the inside out, which is affecting America's politics and the labor force. So what do? Well, if it's going to be a doctor or a lawyer or someone of high ilk, we're going to do what? We're going to fly them over from another country so that they cannot use that influence to politically galvanize the tribe of Judah here. Because we need the ingenuity from these black folks, but we don't need them to transfer that into a political fist against us. That's how it works, folks. So people aren't doctors and all these others because they work hard. No, they were handpicked to be utilized for the machine so that America can hold what? Hold their status over their head. You use your position for what your degree tell you to use it for. See? You can't use your degree to align politically with God's people and help them grassroots like Martin Luther King, Coretta Scott King, and all the great ones who use their credentials and their lives to do what? To fight for something that was worth it, God's people. So bragging about a degree that doesn't transfer into any positivity for your people is absolutely insanity. Insanity. That's what that is. You're insane to brag about a degree that doesn't transfer into helping your people. Okay? And that goes around full circle now. So what are the Asians are going to do now? Because they understand that what we're doing is also warfare in response of not financially backing their businesses. So now, just like chess, we made a move. So what will be their counter? I'm going to tell you what their counter will be, Elder Lawya. Here's the counter for you brothers and sisters, because the Italians did the same thing. The next move they're going to make, folks, is they're going to start doing things out there and blaming it on black people, claiming that black people are messing up their businesses, so because they can't make any money and they have debt. So their next move is to do what? They're going to start vandalizing and or burning their own buildings, blaming it on our people to get the insurance. See? Because they're about to go out of business anyway. but they have insurance. So don't be surprised if they find some of our people or somebody that from someplace else, another country, that looks like us, and they'll pay that person to throw a Molotov cocktail through their business and have it burned down and show a black person doing it so that they can get the insurance, and then they're off the hook when it comes to some of the debt that's owed. The Italians did the same thing, who were also used as leverage against us during the Harlem Renaissance when our people started coming up. Okay? So again, this is going to be their next move, because what? We're strangling them financially, and they have a lot of debt. They have to pay a lot of debt to live in our neighborhoods, folks. The loans go to them first. And Esau is still going to require that debt, those loans. Esau is going to require that from Japheth. So Japheth is going to look at it and say, listen, if I don't have no business because all of my business surrounds these black people, well, you should have respected us. You should have respected us. So the next move, folks, will be they're going to start tearing down their own businesses, blaming it on us to extract the insurance. Watch what I tell you, folks. And it's still going to come. That's the backlash we're going to get publicly, claiming that now we're not only boycotting, but attacking black people. We're attacking Asian people. And they're going to ramp up these marches and all this crap through the Democrat Party to demonize our people in the neighborhoods. Watch what I tell you. Now watch what I tell you. Remember I told y'all this first. Right? There's a lot of news I couldn't cover. So I thought I would get in a few things, Elder Lawya, before going into the broadcast. Gone, yes indeed. Real quick. Let me grab that real quick before going in. Oh yeah, Elder. You probably didn't know that the GOCC church is getting sued. All right.
Okay.
But check this out. Now this is Christianity news. You know, I'll be all over the place looking for this stuff. And I'm going to be going into some of these. I'm sure Shaphat got some more news coming for y'all this coming Sunday. But since I didn't go in last week, I thought I'd just share a few articles to let y'all know what's going on in the earth. Eli Lilly, a big pharmaceutical company that pays for a lot of that high blood pressure drugs and all that. And I totally disagree with those high pressure drugs myself, because I understand the long-term effects of it, and I also understand the plan they had behind it when they first started prescribing that stuff, particularly in our neighborhoods. But I'm gonna leave it there. We're fine without that stuff, folks. Eli Lilly sues GOCC, one of the biggest black churches in America, their leaders, over an alleged $200 million drug rebate scheme. The pharmaceutical company claims 4 members of the Church of God, some of the bishops, and in Christ, fraudulently resold a discounted diabetes drug. Right? So, being that they have such a big network, with black people being some of the highest customers for these diabetes drugs, man, they looked at this and say, you know what? Let's do a network where if we can bring all of the black people in the church on diabetes, we can package this to the pharmaceuticals, right? Instead of doing what you can to make sure the people are not on diabetes drugs.
Right.
Let's cut a deal with the pharmaceuticals to get some rebates so that they can get the I call that stuff poison, to tell you the truth, where our people can get it at a discount, but yet they have to come through us. But then they had rebates, and then come to find out what this particular pharmaceutical company is claiming is that these rebates were being sold what? Separately to other buyers. Just say if Kojic have rebates specifically for them where they can get the drug cheap. Well, if I got the rebates for a lower price, they claiming that leaders came together and grabbed those rebates and was selling it allegedly on the open market to other pharmaceuticals for that lower price. So that now if you get these rebates and get these drugs, you can sell it at the regular price in your particular establishment. Look at what these people are doing. Look at what these people are doing, folks, in a position with all of these people depending on them. They're bartering their members based on membership and pawning them off to the pharmaceuticals allegedly. Folks, this is Christianity News. Christ, what? So they seen all the people on diabetes and say, hey, I can cut a deal all the way around with this. Go to the pharmaceuticals, go this, that, and the other, get rebates, and I can become a now you can become a middleman using the people under you instead of healing your people. But I'm going to keep my eye on this because, hey, I don't think they're going to be able to beat a whole pharmaceutical company. So I'm going to keep my eye on this. A lot of you don't know that. First of all, let me put this out there real quick. Oh, Keep in Focus 67 says, this is my first academy. I'll tell you what, Keep in Focus. We're going to be bringing you in every week, since this is your first time in the academy, so that you can give brothers and sisters out there a real-time update of your experience. Because let me tell you, what you think the academy is, it's better. I'm going to tell you that right now. News, Hebrew, everything is engaging, and it's the most fun time you would have learning the word. Time go away like that. So congratulations, your first week in the academy. I'm going to be bringing you in each week, and you tell me what you think about it. Tell the brothers and sisters out there what you think about it. All right? So yeah, I'm going to keep my eye. And folks, this is why a lot of people don't trust. This is what's going on with the Christian church right now. Like, you can't pawn off your people, to the pharmaceuticals. You can't do that. But I'm going to be keeping my eye on this, right? And guess what? Our religious stance on a lot of these drugs, as far as I'm concerned, now once you get on them, it's hard to get off of them because of the effects, the ill effects it have with your mind and your body and all that dependent on that stuff. But it's best, right? But it's best if you had an opportunity not to ever get on that stuff when they try to get you on it early. It's best just to back away from it. That's been my experience. That's been my experience.
In addition, Salakia, sir, make the necessary lifestyle changes. Don't refuse it and then continue on as normal. You got to make the necessary lifestyle changes that will allow you to continue to operate without having to be dependent on what they're offering.
Exactly. Because it's not like they're wrong when they state that something could be going on with you. Right. But to believe you can fix that with a pill is absolutely insane. Okay. If something is wrong with you, then you have to change, Elder Lawya, like you've mentioned, your eating habits. Because obviously it's what you've eaten that have gotten you there to where your body isn't healthy like it used to be. Okay. Right. So, but throwing a pill to regulate something isn't the answer, because the side effects and all that comes with that. You sure you want to live with that?
Exactly.
So you have to weigh, right? We have to stop. We have to really focus on our health and don't believe that there's some pill that's going to regulate stuff. That's unnatural. Your body is in the red in all these areas for a reason. It's not to get a pill for it. Your body is telling you, stop eating this, start exercising, and do all this because so that your body can now regulate with your spirit now. It's your body, those readings is your body telling you something is wrong. It's not telling you to take a pill.
That's right.
Right? And I see some of these people claiming osteoporosis and all these others. People are getting early osteoporosis using Ozempic and all these others, bone cirrhosis and all these other things that are not being, they're not putting it out there. All of the lawsuits and all these that's going on with that stuff, folks. There's no such thing as a quick fix.
That's right.
There's no such thing as a quick fix. Anything worth getting is always worked for. Okay? When you can look back and say, I'm proud that I was able to accomplish whatever this is, whatever that is, it's because of the hard work that was put in for it. There is no quick fix. There is no quick fix and saying, okay, boom, I'm here. It doesn't work that way. Right? So I wanted to put that out there. And understand that Job 13 tells us that what? That they are forgers of lies and physicians of no value. All right, Elder Lawya, let's go in.
Yes, sir.
Let's go in real quick, right? Let's go in. Let's start here. Why do people claim the Bible is a white man's book? We're going to do an exploration on race, religion, and history. Right? First and foremost, whoever claimed that the Bible was a white man's book? First of all, they'll claim, well, hold up. The Bible justifies the white man being a master over slaves. That's a lie. And we're going to get that scripture. Just because a nation or people use the Bible for their own agendas, that doesn't make the Bible the wrong book. That makes the person wrong who's using it for wrong. There's no doctrine that tells us, okay, there's no doctrine in the Bible that justifies the white man being a good Christian having slaves. So what they'll try to tell people is, hey, the white man used the Bible to keep black people as servants or slaves. Number one, that's a lie. So let's go there first, Elder. Let's get that scripture where they claim between the servants and the masters.
All right. This is Colossians 3:22.
Colossians 3, verse 22. A matter of fact, Elder Lawya, to give it context, let's read the 20th verse first.
All right. This is Colossians 3:20.
Matter of fact, start at 18.
Yes, sir. Verse 18. Wives, Submit yourselves unto your husbands as is fit in the Lord.
There you go. Women are supposed to submit themselves to their husbands. Right? Way back to the beginning. Why? Because the woman came out of man, not the other way around. The baby from the woman didn't come first. The woman from the man came first. See? So it's no wonder the same people out there with their foolish doctrines out there in Hotepping, these are the same people who would claim that the black woman is God. These are the same people that'll tell you the Bible is a white man's book. Backward. Right? Wives, submit unto your own husbands as it is fit in the Lord. Read.
Husbands, love your wives and be not bitter against them.
And husbands, love your wives and be not bitter against them. Right? Forgive women. Give honor to them as the weaker vessel. You just can't be coming down on them all the time and become bitter. 20.
Children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well-pleasing unto the Lord.
Honor thy father and mother. Read.
Fathers, provoke not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged.
Father, provoke not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged. We have to encourage our children. We can't always point out the wrong they do. Okay? We just can't make them believe that their existence is us seeing our children as failures. We just can't point out the wrong they do because we're provoking them to anger. They'll grow up hating us. Because what? Children seek what? Children seek validation from their parents. That tells them whether or not they're succeeding in life based on how their parents view their progress. That's very important for a child to know that their father and mother are pleased with them, as we are when we know that the Most High is pleased with us. Right?
That's right.
22.
Servants, obey in all things your masters, according to the flesh.
According to the what?
According to the flesh.
Masters according to the flesh. Read.
Not with eye service as men pleasers, but in singleness of heart, fearing God.
But in singleness of heart, fearing the Most High. So when it talks about servants in obedience to the masters, folks, it was talking about the positions within the church ranks. That's what it was talking about. It wasn't talking about servants obey master cakes on the Mississippi plantation. Not with eye service or as men pleasers, brown nosing. Because usually the brown nosers are those who make it in ranks strictly because, not on merit, is because what? You got it. You got it. They have brown noses. They're always snitching and doing all these other things to get admiration. That's what the Bible is calling out. Read.
23, and whatsoever ye do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not unto men.
Read.
Knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for ye serve the Lord Christ.
For ye serve the Lord Christ. See? 25.
25. But he that doeth wrong shall receive the wrong which he have done. And there is no respect of persons.
And there is no respect of persons. A person that does wrong is going to get what? He's going to get the payment. He's going to reap what he sows, regardless of race, regardless of anything. Okay? But he that doeth wrong shall receive the wrong which he have done, and there is no respect of persons in judgment. So when it goes into servants obey in all things your masters, just because the plantation was teaching this out of context, it doesn't mean the Bible is incorrect, or it doesn't mean the Bible is a white man's book. And we're going to prove that. The Bible is a book that contains the history of all nations, of all races of people. See? But the book is the history that belongs to us, the children of Israel. Right? So, just on the surface, how we know, just on the surface, that it's not a white man's book. These Hotepians are putting this out there. I'm going to show you in a minute why. Number one, let's go here first. All right? Let's go here first. Let me get my paperwork here. 1526. 1526. Wasn't that long ago. There was a black man by the name of William Tyndale. He was responsible, that's right, European, a black man from the tribe of Judah. He is responsible for the first published Bible in 1526. Okay? Here's another picture of William Tyndale. You cannot get, hold on, you cannot get Tom Cruise out of this particular portrait. This is undoubtedly a what? A black man. Before the chattel slavery we seen here in America, we are and were black nobility of Europe. At the same time, our people in Europe, black people, Judites, were warring against the satanic Roman Church. Okay? Let's talk about this. You cannot get John Travolta out of this. Okay? If you want to go Pulp Fiction, it's more leaning on the side of Samuel Jackson. Okay? Can you see? Now, how is this a white man's book? Now, we're going to go into why the Hotepians and the Muslims intentionally lie to Christians claiming that it's a white man's book. Okay? Now, let's slide over here, if you will. Who is this? Huh? Now, you know this can't be a white guy. Look how fly he is dressed. King James, the 6th and 1st of Scott, who sat on the whole UK thrones, all three at once, right? The UK, Scotland, and Ireland. A black man ruling the UK. That whole thing with the powder keg of them trying to blow up King James was the Vatican trying to assassinate a black man, which is their 4th of July over there in England. I really appreciate all y'all's support. I really appreciate you all. Now, I have his book right here. I have the book right here. One second. Look. I read the book. Took a picture of it to show you. Let me blow it up for you. Look at that. Look at that. He's the man who authorized the translation of the Bible 1611. Have it right here. See, what they lied to us in America, brothers and sisters, Elder, and what they did was they lied to our people to make us believe here in America that Europe and that England was all white. Any mass publication coming out of Europe would have us believe coming up that Europe or England was a white land. No. England was fractured. Okay? England was Europe was fractured when we warred against the Romans. Septimius Severus and Pescennius Niger, 2 black generals, split Europe. We became the black nobility. When you hear about England, angel's tongue, that's all us. That's all us. Germans came in later to usurp the throne after the death of King James' son. Then they started playing Elizabeth, Charles, and all of that. They were from Germany, folks. They were from Germany. The people in Europe right now, they're sitting in England right now, so-called King Charles or King, whatever he called himself, and they're Germans. So they took down a black throne of Judah and replaced it with white people. So let's make that clear. Hit that like button as we talk about this. That's a black man. Now, let me make this clear too. They have a problem with King James, a black man, because he was exposing in this book, he was exposing the Vatican as the Antichrist seat. He was exposing the Babylonian religion and the ill intent that Rome had against God's people. Okay, so again, the white man had nothing to do with the compilation of the book we call today the Bible. He had nothing to do with it, outside of publishing it now and distributing the book that was already put together by black people from the tribe of Judah in specific. Now that's history. Now, Elder Lawya, I'm going to tell y'all how deep this is. I'm going to tell y'all how deep this is. One of the first lessons I did in the academy when we did it over in England was the truth about King James. I think we still got that lesson compiled. We still have it somewhere documented, that whole lesson. Right? The whole lesson. The truth about King James. We broke it down to many academies, folks. I'm going to show you how deep this is. When we broke down this over in England, folks, and put it on YouTube. Now, folks, it must have happened from the higher ups in England. Don't you know that when we came to the United States and I pulled the video up, and then I went back to England and pulled it up, and it says this particular video cannot be viewed in Europe. England censored the video, The Truth About King James. I thought y'all was down with the nobility of the throne. I thought y'all were proud of the nobility of England. Why would they ban this video in England, folks? Why? They wasn't allowed, their citizens wasn't allowed to see the video, The Truth About King James. Why would they censor the history we were showing there? Or would you rather, listen to this, or would you rather the lies on King James created by the Bacon family stay out there? Would you rather people think that King James was a homosexual when he wasn't? He was married and he had many children. Most people in the United States, when you hear of King James, they say, oh, he was gay. What? That's the Hotep community, folks. I did a full history breakdown on King James that was censored from England. Shouldn't they desire to clean up King James' image, the sullied image that was given him over in America? They censored the video, folks. King James was not gay. He wasn't linking with no Bacon family and homosexuality and all this other mess. He had a family. He had many children. He had a wife. He knew many languages. So that's another lie, claiming that King James was a white man. A white gay man at that. Why? I'm going to put it up here again. Why do the conscious community keep this lie going? Could it be that the Bible threatens the religion they hold? Now, we're gonna tackle that in a moment. But I need y'all to think about this, folks. Politically and all, why the conscious community would continue with this lie over and over again. That the Bible is a white man's book. That the white man was behind it. Why do they keep, or the Bible was tampered with? Why do they keep these lies on the Bible? Think about it, folks. Think about it. The majority of our people who came out of shadow slavery here in America, folks, are and were Bible believers. Our core belief in God and Christ is what got us through every generation under hard surgery. Under hard slavery. It's the spirit that galvanized us to create the cultures we've created all over the earth. It came out of the Bible, folks. So if you're going to get people to join one of your organizations, how else, folks, listen, how else will the conscious community get people to follow their African mumbo jumbo if the majority of the people in the United States believes in the Bible. So it's in their interest to destabilize the Bible, to get people to follow their Hotep madness. See that? Because the majority of people that they want under this black consciousness crap, their family came out of the Christian church believing in the Bible. So in order for them their grift to continue, they must lie to the children of Christians and convince them to denounce the only book that can explain our plight here. Without that, there is no black Muslims. There is no black Hoteps. Without them, what? Convincing our people to turn from the book. So that's a survival instinct for these new religions that came over later. They can only survive off of the children who believed in the Bible. See? So they must what? To steal a few of these people, they must demonize the Bible. To crowbar a place for themselves. To sever a place for themselves. Folks. Now, let's jump in. Let's jump in now, Elder, real quick, because we're going to open it up.
Yes, sir.
And if you have anything to say on that, Elder, before I go through?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, any points you can write down because I'm going to turn it over to you in a minute. All right?
Yes, sir. I'll hold everything else until you're done.
All right. And then if you have a point of view before I go there, a separate point of view on why you believe that they would lie on the Bible, bring it now.
No, sir. I think all the points you brought forward are valid and give insight as to why they would actually desire to teach so, to draw people away from the Bible into whatever madness they're trying to propagate. Short and sweet.
Yeah, there it is. It's like why would you need to demonize someone else's beliefs or a book if what you have is something worth diving into? Right. If it has worth or value, why would you need to down something else? Because you know that what you're bringing cannot hold in of itself. You know it. Right? Because, like, for instance, real quick, before I go in, to prove that the Bible is not a white man's book, it's our book. Right? This proves, folks, listen to what I'm saying. People can ask me, well, why should we prefer the Bible over any other book? I can answer that. The Bible has laws, statutes, and commandments. See? It has civility, judgment on how we are to interact with one another. See?
Right.
Folks, that's a force multiplier. That in of itself makes the book valuable. It has a code that would protect us if we were to follow it together and live by it, live by the Bible, living amongst one another with a level of civility. And I'm speaking of the laws, statutes, and commandments out of the book. How bad is that? What's so wrong with that? See, it's wrong if you want to scam. That's when the Bible is wrong. Because then I can look at the laws and do what? Identify a scammer. See that? So when you have a whole religious community, they may call it a conscious community, folks, but it's a religious community, folks. Amalgamated. It's a bunch of stuff in their jambalaya. Witchcraft, sorcery, the worship of different idols and gods, all of this calling themselves gods. It's a jambalaya of a bunch of mess. And they don't want the Bible because the Bible holds people accountable. That's why they don't like the Bible, because the Bible points out thieves, scammers. They don't want any rules. They just want to operate without any rules. Their religion is that we're black. So what? So what? So this is why, folks, they don't want the Bible, because the Bible comes with what? It comes with accountability. Years ago, we brought in the brother, I'm not even going to call him a doctor, that brother from Philadelphia, Umar Johnson, brought him on the broadcast and was looking to support what the brother was talking about, because it seemed like he had something to say that was positive. As far as the drugs they were putting our young boys on, right? And then calling our people special needs when they weren't, targeting the brains of our young boys. I'm like, you know what? This brother is saying some good stuff. I'm not down with the conscious community, but I bring in many guests who can bring in some ideas that can help our people who are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. People don't got to believe what I believe to come in and bring some information. I've had doctors, epidemiologists on. I've had people who don't believe anything. Hey, there was this, we had a warlock who came on one of the broadcasts. I'm like, tell them about the paganism that Christians have stolen from you. He's like, yeah, we're the original pagans. Right? So listen, I've had on many people in guests that I didn't agree with. But him in particular, I had to kick him up out of here. I'm like, get him out of here. Why? He didn't have enough tact to have an intellectual conversation. Okay? To where he could bring forth what he had to bring forth, but still have a respect for our book, being that we invite you in our house as a guest. You don't have to believe in the Bible. Who cares? But you're not going to stomp on it here, and I invited you into my house. I'm trying to support what you're doing. You're not going to come in here and crap on the only book that gave you an opportunity to speak whatever garbage you're bringing. So I say, get him out of here. I'm here to support you, brother, but what you're not going to do is bring our Bible down and not have a suitable, what? A suitable replacement. What, you want us to listen to you? So I had to get him out. And back then, that was before everyone knew he was a scammer.
Right.
People coming down on me. Hey, man, he's going to argue about the Bible. Like, listen, you're not going to come on this platform and disrespect our forefathers. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Christ, all of those who stood for us, that gave us an opportunity to be here. You're not going to, and you're bringing absolutely nothing. Talking about some orishas and all this witchcraft and all this other crap. And I knew the brother was from the conscious community, but what did I do? I gave him a platform to speak something positive to help our people. What you're not going to do is come in and disrespect the only book that can break down what's going on in the earth right now. And folks, it was before I knew he was a scammer. But now I understand why he didn't want to deal with our book. Because in the 10 Commandments, it states, thou shalt not steal. You can't say, take money from our people who are struggling and not produce something. And then every year you claim that it's coming this year and coming this year. Tell me you got a school, got some abandoned building somewhere that's probably allegedly part of another scam. I got him out of here. I mean, get this guy off my broadcast. He's what's wrong with our community. They don't want the Bible because the Bible holds you accountable. That's why they don't want the Bible. Thou shalt not steal. I see one of their major debaters, not so polite. He went the Kemet on trial thing, and he went there, and next thing you know, there was a beef between them because he went to California with all the money. Thou shalt not steal. And wonder why I didn't want that Kemet on trial garbage anyway. I'm like, listen, they're not bringing anything to us. We have the truth of the Almighty. They can only benefit from what we're dealing with. Okay? And next thing you know, he gets locked up for some stuff with some young girl or something. He gets arrested. This is why they don't want the Bible, folks. The conscious community, as well as the Islam and all that, because in order for Islam to bolster their numbers, they have to convince the children of slaves who believed in the Bible to convert. To convert. And brothers and sisters, this is the point I wanted to make real quick with all of this. Understand, if we convert into their religion and they come over here, they will undermine us politically now as minorities and take the money that our forefathers struggled to get through chattel slavery, through civil rights. It was us standing with the Bible that gave us the courage to have everyone else in the earth stand up and get behind us. So they come over here, they'll switch us into another religion, and by doing so, undermine us politically. In Bible days, somebody come up with a kufi on and come up talking about Hotep. In Bible days, we seen these people as enemies. What God you serve, dude? I don't want to hear this, I'm a black man and I'm God and we all God. No, brother. What God you serve? I don't want to hear your prison babble. What God you serve? So let's make it clear. I'm going to prove right now, that the Bible is and has always been an Israelite book, not just an Israelite book, a black man's record. Hit that like button. I appreciate all y'all doing to support us right now. Okay. And guess what? They come up short even trying to claim Egypt. Any greatness they try to claim in the Hotep community concerning Africa and Egypt, folks, that's our history. From Abraham being from the tribe of Shem, being from the seeds of Shem, all the way to Joseph and the Israelites who went into Egypt. So all the greatness they brag about in Egypt still comes back to us. And guess what? The historians renamed us Asiatic so we wouldn't realize that they were talking about us. See? So they can't even claim Egypt like that because the Egyptians didn't make Egypt great. The Israelites made Egypt great. Let's make that clear too. Right? Elder Lawya, let's go into the book of Maccabees in the 4th century, mind you, from the Apocrypha to show you white people trying to color the images of our records, the Old Testament. Now, we all know the original Grecians are Edomites, white people. So why would a white person do this? We're going to Antiochus Epiphanes in the 4th century now, folks. Let's go there real quick, Elder.
Yes, sir. First Maccabees 3 and 47.
Okay, thank you, Elder Lawya. Let me catch up with you here. First Maccabees 3 and what?
And we can start at 47.
Okay, and I want to go to where they began the games and all that with Antiochus. I need you to grab that too, because I'm going to bring up my man Jaylen Brown too.
Yes, sir.
While that racist city, Boston, is hating on Jaylen Brown. Okay. And I hope the brother Jaylen Brown is watching the broadcast there. Let's go there real quick.
First Maccabees 3 and 47.
3 and 47.
In fact, let's start at 46, Lawya.
46?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's read that.
Wherefore the Israelites assembled themselves together and came to Mashpah, over against Jerusalem. For in Mashpah was the place where they prayed aforetime in Israel.
So first of all, folks, let's set the stage or the foundation here. The book is talking about Israelites. This is the 4th century here. Before Christ. The Bible is an Israelite book. When did it ever become a white man's book? Oh, I think y'all have the modern day Israelis confused with the Israelites in the Bible. See? Wherefore the Israelites assembled themselves together and came to Mashpah over against Jerusalem, for in Mashpah was the place where they prayed aforetime in Israel. Read.
Then they fasted that day and put on sackcloth and cast ashes upon their heads and rent their clothes and laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
Where the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. What heathen? Antiochus, the Grecians, who are white people. These fools were trying to break in the temple to put white images in the books back then. Why would they need to do this if the book was already a white man's book? Speaking of the scrolls at this time, the Old Testament. The book of the law, the first 5 books, they open it up and try to paint a white Moses up in there. So if the Bible is a white man's book, why is the white man trying to put his images in it? This is Esau trying to hide himself amongst us back then. So that one day our children will wake up and look at the books and believe that all this great history and wisdom comes from them. Well, no, it doesn't come from you. Okay? You was up there in Mount Seir. Before that, after that, the Caucasus Mountains. All of the wisdom and knowledge that it takes to run a society righteously comes from us. And this Bible rolls out the roadmap for it all on how civilizations are to rule people righteously. Every society uses part of the Bible for how they govern. Period. Every society in the earth uses some part of the Bible to govern their country. And that's including the Islamic countries. The Abrahamic values that they uphold in Islam were originally with what? With us before we taught Muhammad. You want to talk today? You want to talk tonight?
That's right, folks. Muhammad was taught by us. I have history on that. Then they're gonna come around, Johnny come latelys, once we struggle and fight for everything over here, and bring their peddlers over here to undermine our people and try to make us not believe in the book who got us through all of that was with us through all these tough times after slave ships. One thing that held our faith intact was the fact that we had the book of our forefathers, the Bible. And now these Johnny come latelys, they come over the water and try to shake us from our book. Huh? You got some more on this?
Let's sit on that. I know you want the exercise, the place of exercise.
Yeah, let's get that real quick.
All right, going to 2 Maccabees 2 or 2 Maccabees 4 and 7.
Hold on. Let me pull something up real quick. And one thing about Esau, folks, hold on. Esau never forgets. Esau never forget. He never forgets when our people stand for something righteously and win. He never forgets that. Let me show you all this. Boy, let me tell you. Hold on. Boy, I'll tell you, boy. They done jacked up these algorithms. Remember this? I'm gonna let you hear it too, Elder Lawya.
Yes, sir.
Right here. See the display? Yeah, right here. Remember this?
You responded to Josiah's comment about Kyrie on Twitter. What about that bothered you? And what about Josiah's comment? And then what, if anything, that the league has done has been?
Check. I got it. Years ago, folks, Esau never forgets this. First and foremost, folks, for y'all don't know, they try to keep it under wraps. Jaylen Brown, his family, and his father, they all know they're Israelites, folks. They all know. Kyrie Irving also know he's an Israelite. Right? So all of a sudden you have these satanic Edomite sports, I would say sports talking heads like Cowell and Coward and all these others. And yeah, I said it that way. Who's trying to claim that Jaylen Brown, he thinks he's the smartest man in the room. Let's talk about that. Because this ties into everything we're teaching tonight, too. Oh, he thinks he's the smartest man in the room. Oh, would you rather him be the dumbest person in the room?
See, what they're saying is we can't exploit him the way we do other athletes. We can't exploit him. We can't bring in what? An accountant or an agent that's working for us to undermine him financially. They bring in these people like Mayweather brought in. See? Yeah, I'm going to show you how to invest your money and quadruple your money. You're already a multi-millionaire. Why are you going to give your money to someone who has less money than you?
That's right.
Can you imagine a cat dead broke coming to you saying, and he know that you got money, he's dead broke, and he come to you and say, man, I know exactly where to put your money. So I'm going to show you why they fear Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown knows the Bible, folks. He knows the Bible. That's what makes him the smartest man in the room, according to them. So if he know who he is, he definitely know who the others are. And guess what? He does business with them. But he does business with them on his terms, knowing the Bible. You see why they don't want you learning the Bible, folks? That don't mean that you're going to hate people and not do business with them. But you do business with them according to the values learned under your book. This young man, Elder, guess what? He drew up, drafted, and presented his own contract without an agent. Check that out. He's like, no, don't worry about it. I'll do my own contract. So not only is he highly educated, multi-talented, he also knows he's an Israelite, and they don't like that influence in the locker room. Because usually the locker room, folks, and the camaraderie there, folks, it's usually a place where one wills power that leads the whole team to victory. That's where the power struggles are. Like, for instance, just say the coach want to invite everybody over for some camaraderie. Boom. Everybody's having a good time. But he got some pig knuckles and a whole pig split open on a grill. It's going to be a power struggle. He invite the whole team over. They drinking beers, having a good time, talking and shooting the breeze, talking about coming to practice next week. Okay, I grew up. I know how the locker rooms are. I was dealing in sports and all that, growing up as a kid and all that. The coach invites you over, camaraderie, and now they split open a pig. Jaylen Brown looking at that pig saying, nah, I'm good. He's not telling people not to, but guess what? The coach is looking at how many people are going to eat the pig and how many people aren't. See? Because the coach is trying to figure out, is that my locker room or does that locker room belong to him? That's how it works, folks. So here it is. They split open that pig. Jaylen Brown is at the he's at the cookout. He ain't disrespecting anyone, but he not eating unlawful food because what? The law of the God shows him that what? That stuff is poison. And then the coach is looking around. He's trying to figure out who ate pork before, who isn't eating now. See how it works? So he's looking around at his teammates. He's looking around at his players, and he's saying, well, okay, how many people are listening to this guy? So he can subtly find out just by inviting them to a cookout, brothers and sisters. That's how it is. And then he'd be like, man, that guy didn't eat, that guy ate my food before. How can he come in my house and disrespect me? And now he's listening to this Jaylen Brown. So then the coach goes to the owners and say, man, this dude is splitting our locker room. That's how it is, folks. I'm telling you. When everyone was going against Kyrie Irving, look what Jaylen Brown said years ago when it came to the shot. Fair use.
You responded to Josiah's comment about Kyrie on Twitter. What about that bothered you? And what about Josiah's comment? And then what, if anything, that the league has done has bothered you?
Yeah, his response was alarming to me. I tweeted that out yesterday. He didn't say that the organization was working together to get Kyrie back on the floor. He said that he had more work to do. And our society has more work to do, including Josiah. And it's 2022. It takes 10 minutes of time to see who, these business owners, corporations, etc., who they're associated with, who they're doing business with, who they're affiliated with. And I'm vice president of the union.
Fair use.
It's part of my job to protect our players legally. To see...
Vice president of the union. Go ahead, young man. It's my position to protect the players.
Phil Knight first come out and condemn, Kyrie, and also see Josiah say he has more work to do. I think it's time for a larger conversation. And Adam came out and said a statement that he doesn't believe Kyrie Irving is anti-Semitic, yet he's still suspended indefinitely.
What do you think the reaction should be with him?
I said this before. I think it's uncharted territory. I think there's no distinction between what somebody says versus what somebody posts. And I guess that's what they're trying to figure out. The terms that the Brooklyn Nets instituted for his return. I voiced my discomfort. Some of our players, some people in the media voiced some of their discomfort with that. And, we've yet to hear, what is the latest with that situation. It's still an indefinite suspension. He's already missed 5 or 6 games. So, how many games is he going to continue to miss? Is it another situation going on there? Is it a larger situation going on there? Is another conversation that need to be had? We've yet to find out. So I'm staying tuned, and I'm keeping my phone on to just see what is going to come of this situation.
Do you have concerns about the parameters that were set up for his return to play, as far as just creating a level of steps of things that have to be fulfilled? And do you think that's something that needs to be addressed in discussions over the next collective bargaining agreement?
Absolutely. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this before in our league. So to say that this is what is needed for somebody to return, we just thought that was excessive. Players thought that was excessive. So I'm not sure if that's going to be something that'll be a CBA negotiation point or talking mechanism. I just know that there's sensitivity, on both sides that need to be addressed. And I'm looking forward to the union and the NBA and the Brooklyn Nets coming to a solution in the near future.
In the near future. And folks,
You responded to
this is what I want y'all to check out, folks. I want y'all to check out his diplomacy. This is what they feared. This is what they feared when our people started to wake up and understand we are the children of Israel. That's the power of the Bible. See that? That's the power when we take back a book that belonged to our forefathers. Check out his diplomacy. Well-spoken. Never disrespected anyone, but still stood for Kyrie Irving because he knew it was unjust. How did he learn this? The Bible. And now Colin Cowherd and others are claiming he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. Why? Folks, y'all have to understand how the business works, folks. Agents, accountants, a lot of these people, folks, they go golfing together. They go to the same synagogue. When these people out there, when Stephen A. and all they're talking about, I got sources, where you think they're getting their sources from? It's the agents in them, folks. So now this guy is saying, I don't know who to trust in this business, so I'm going to deal with my own business, myself. I don't need no accountant. I don't need no agent, because what? I can't trust any of them because they're all working on one side against us. They don't like that, because eventually he's going to show other people, other athletes, how to preserve their money after retirement like he does. That cuts out the middleman. It cuts out the agents. It cuts out all of them. That's why, folks, he's rocking the boat, because he know the Bible. He has that wisdom that comes only from one who have studied the Word of God. See that? So that's a whole nother conversation, Elder Lawya. Let's go to the athletes part real quick.
Yes, sir. 2 Maccabees 4 and 7.
2 Maccabees 4 verse 7. Thank you. Read it.
But after the death of Seleucus, when Antiochus called...
You said 2 Maccabees, right?
Yes, sir. 2 Maccabees 4 and 7.
Okay, go ahead.
But after the death of Seleucus, when Antiochus called Epiphanes took the kingdom, Jason, the brother of Onias, labored underhand to be high priest, promising unto the king by intercession 360 talents of silver, and another revenue 80 talents. Beside this, he promised to assign 150 more, if he might have license to set up a place for exercise, and for the training up of youth in the fashion of the heathens, and to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochians.
And to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochians. So you would have what? You would have the strongest, fastest athletes out of Israel, and train them up to become what? To become athletes within the arenas. Now, this is very important for the Grecians. Why? Because through the Marb, or the Colosseum, anything politically you wanted to convey to the population, well, the majority of the people are there. There's nothing to do in these little towns, so they all come out to see the games. And that's where the king can exert his authority by the announcements on which way the republic is going. So these athletes, all of this was important when it comes to a control of a population, or conveying patriotism through the Marb. That's the reason why they came up with sports. We're reading it right here. They started training our people. We were faster, we were stronger, and the more of our athletic prowess, the more people would come out throughout the different countries to see us entertain. And now the king can come out and what? Push forward any agenda he would have, and instilling that patriotism within what? Within the audience. And they'll take that message back to their villages. Same as today. And the king granted what?
10. When the king had granted, and he had gotten into the hand the rule, he forthwith brought his own nation to the Greekish fashion.
To the Greekish fashion. Read.
And the royal privileges granted of special favor to the Jews by the means of John the father of Eupolemus, who went ambassadors to Rome with amity and aid. He took away, and putting down the governments which were according to the law, he brought up new customs against the law.
He brought up new customs against the law. So they watch when athletes and all that. No, if you're going to be down with us, then you're going to have to change your fashion and stand for the Grecians or the Romans opposed to the Israelites' law. See that? Read.
For he built gladly a place of exercise under the tower itself, and brought the chief young men under his subjection, and made them wear a hat.
And made them wear a hat. The hats was what? Just like any team would have a logo signifying ownership or which team you are for. So this is where the whole knowledge of team emblems came in. See that? Just like you have baseball hats, you have basketball paraphernalia and all of that. This all came from the Greeks. But they needed us in their arenas. It started back then, folks, the 4th century BC. Right? So they've always had a problem with us exercising our law as Hebrews, working in the Colosseums for entertainment. They've always had that problem. This is history right here. Now, this is black people being Hebrews and white people owning the Colosseums. Now, folks, we're talking what? Centuries ago. Millennia ago. Think about this, folks. And still, it's the same model playing out right now. So tell me, how is this book a white man's book when everything we're breaking down, the same thing they did to us back then as Israelites, they're doing to us today? All right? Now, Elder Lawya, let's go to Alexander. There's a reason I want to go to Alexander in the book of Maccabees. And folks, if you have a regular King James Version Bible, you're going to notice you'll never find the book of Maccabees in it because Esau took it out. Esau took it out, or the so-called white man Esau took it out. Why? Because this identifies Esau's what? This is where Esau began to wield his first power as king on earth. So they didn't want us to they didn't want us to know when Esau came into power according to our book. So they just took the Apocrypha out of it, but left it in the Catholic Bible for those who don't know history. They'll lie and claim, well, the Apocrypha isn't spiritually inspired, and they're lying. They'll lie and claim that you can't find Christ's prophecies in the Apocrypha. That's another lie. They don't want you to know about the book because this shows Esau's what? His claim to power according to prophecy under Alexander the Great, an Edomite. Let's go there real quick, Elder.
Yes, sir. First Maccabees 1:1.
I'm there.
All right. First Maccabees 1:1. And it happened after that Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Kittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece.
Come on.
And made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him. Whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up, and he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them, while he was yet alive.
While he was yet alive. He split the kingdom amongst his 4 generals. Read.
So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule, every one in his place.
This is
and
where Esau began his power over the earth, folks. The power they're still wielding till this day. Hence the reason they took this book out of the Bible. After his death,
And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, and so did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth.
and evils began to multiply in the earth now that Edomites were in charge. Huh? So if you want to know where white people come in, they come in right here. Right? This is when they began their power. Now, why am I dealing with this in general? Well, it doesn't matter, Elder Lawya, how much things change. They stay the same. George Bush's family tree and ancestry chart. Look right here. Look right here at the descendants of George W. Bush. He goes back to Arius C. Pisso and the pharaohs of the 16th dynasty under the Ptolemies, folks. Listen. The following chart traces the descent of the American presidents George Herbert Walker Bush. Right? Let me get it here. Let me get it here. Hold on. George Herbert Walker Bush. Let me blow it up. Look at this. Look at this. Roosevelt Franklin. Roosevelt Franklin, folks, went to Philip of Macedonia. Alexander the Greek's father links directly to Franklin D. Roosevelt, another president of the United States. Look down here. And they both go to where? Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great. Even guess what? Even Cleopatra. That was the niece of Alexander the Great, the second niece. These are all Edomites that their dynasties connect directly to the United States of America. These are the same people who tried to, in the book of Maccabees, to use our records and place their families in the records instead of the black people who lived during that time who were Israelites. Huh? Elder Lawya, let's go back there again. And that's another thing, folks. When they talk about Egypt in our modern time, claiming that Egyptians were white people, they're talking about the Ptolemy dynasties after Alexandria, where white people began to rule Egypt. That's why when you go into Egypt today, you think you're going to see a bunch of black people, and you have a bunch of Edomite Greek babies running around. Okay? Y'all getting a little history lesson tonight, right? So it's the same model in place till this day. The only difference is back then, we knew we were the Israelites. So what are they talking about? The Bible is a white man's book. We can show you where that same Edomite, white people, tried to what? Raid our records to paint white images in the law. Let's go there again, Elder, once more.
Yes, sir. First Maccabees 3 and 48.
First Maccabees 3, verse 48. I tell y'all, folks, y'all better get in that academy. First Maccabees. Let's go to, hold on, let me pull that down. So I think I'm a little too loud. Let me check. Check. Okay, that's better. All right. First Maccabees what?
3 and 48.
3 and 48. Let's go here. See? Yeah. 3 and 48. Let's read that.
And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen sought to paint the likeness of their images.
The heathen sought to paint the likeness of their images, brother. What heathen? These are the Edomites. These are the Greeks during this time, folks. They raided the temple, opened up the books and say, hold up, where's our best artist? Let's try to put white people in as Moses. Like some of the Catholic books we see today, showing a bunch of white people, Edomite people, who have nothing to do with Israelites. So they was trying to do the bait and switch back then, folks. Huh? Hope y'all can hear me clearly here. Right? Are you there, Elder?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
All right, let me bring this mic a little closer to me. I don't want this volume to drop. My volume is good now, folks. I think it's better now. Yeah. All right. Now, it's good now? Before I go further. Right? They say it's buzzing. Okay. Yeah, I think it's better now. It's better now. It's better now. I can see it's better now. Yeah, I'm not going to mess with it now. All right, Elder. Okay. Now let's go in. Right? Now, Elder Lawya, let's go to Moses. Moses, Aaron, and his sister Miriam in the book of Numbers. Since they try to claim that the Bible is a white man's book, right? Let's see how Moses looked, right? Moses, Miriam, and Aaron had the same father and mother. All right? The same father and mother. Right? We're in Numbers, the 12th chapter, Elder Lawya. Right? You there, Lawya? Let me hear you. I didn't hear you.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay. Let's go straight to it. When Miriam and Aaron begin to speak against Moses, right? And the Most High said, listen, I didn't set you up, I set him up. So what you get is some people become ungrateful and think it's about them, right? When who would you be without Moses, who the Most High sent, right? So you have some people who become ungrateful and oh, it's about me now, right? Well, if it was about you, the Most High would have chosen you. See how that works? Read the 8th verse. Read it.
Numbers 12 and 8. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. And the multitude and the similitude of the Lord shall he behold. Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses?
So they got mad. So they got mad because Moses married an Ethiopian woman. Miriam started spreading stuff. Aaron felt upset. Like, yo, that's his woman. What y'all worried about it for? And the Most High was like, man, what's up with these people? Like Moses is supposed to live his life through how you view his life? Now, of course, there were some Israelite sisters that Moses could have married. And guess what? Even if they felt they had a reason to be mad. I'm going to show you what happens when people let their anger destroy them because they're so short-sighted. It's like, you know the trip isn't over yet, right? With your short-sightedness, Moses is the one that led us this far. So you're going to let one instance get in the way of the total mission? Only thing they could focus on was one thing they didn't like about Moses. Not realizing, hey, all right, the Most High chose him. He didn't choose you. You're living and you're thriving and benefiting because of whom the Most High chose. See? So these people with very, very short-sightedness, his own sister and brother turned on him. It was the devil that got in them. And the Most High said, were y'all not afraid to speak against him? The Most High told him straight up, I'm not dealing with y'all. I'm dealing with him. And don't forget, all the notoriety, the popularity that Miriam received, that Aaron received, was through proximity to him. So how can you tear him down without tearing yourselves down? See how that works? Read the 9th verse.
Verse 9. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow.
She became what?
Miriam became leprous, white as snow.
So how can someone claim that the Bible is a white man's book? Moses, Aaron, and Miriam had the same father and mother. A curse for her disobeying and rebelling against Moses was the fact that she was turned white. So if she was turned white, obviously she must have been a black woman. What you mean this is the white man's book? The curse is that she was turned white. Huh? And to prove to you it was a curse, Aaron looked at Miriam and said, what, elder?
And Aaron said unto Moses, Alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not this sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned. Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed, when he cometh out of his mother's womb.
Let her not be as one dead. He was praying for his sister not to stay leprous. Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed, when he cometh out of his mother's womb. Well, whose flesh was half consumed coming out of the womb of Rebekah? Esau. Esau. Huh? So how can this be a white man's book? When the curse was turning Miriam white. Let's go to Songs of Solomon 1 and 5 real quick. Songs of Solomon 1 and 5.
Yes, sir. This is Songs of Solomon 1 and 5.
Hold on, let me get it out of the Old Testament here. Right here after Ecclesiastes. 1 and 5 reads what?
I am black.
I am what?
But I am black.
I am black.
But comely.
But beautiful. So someone tell me, when did this become a white man's book? And why are black people from the conscious community, why are they continuing their lie on the Bible? I'm still waiting for someone to prove that this is a white man's book. I am black but beautiful. O ye what?
O ye daughters of Jerusalem.
O ye daughters of Jerusalem. As the tents of Kedar. As the curtains of Solomon. Read the 6th verse.
Look not upon me because I am black, because the sun have looked upon me.
Now, in case y'all trying to claim it's not the shade from the outside. What happens when the sun hits you? You become nice and dark, right? I was out there in the sun picking blueberries the other day. I came back and looked in the mirror. Man, I was so black, I was shining. I'm like, man, I got some good vitamin D up in me today. Okay? Because the sun have looked upon me. So somebody show me, where is the white man's book at? Huh? What? Talking about this is a white man's book. What? What happened was during the Renaissance period, when we, after we fell, the evil Roman Empire under the Vatican got these sodomites, Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo, to repaint the images of a Spaniard, Edomite, as Christ under the Borgia family. They accomplished what they couldn't finish in the book of Maccabees. They started opening up our records, putting in Edomite images. Okay? So let's make that clear. All right? Now, Elder, if you will, let's go to Acts 13. So I hope I'm answering your question, the brother who reached out and said, how can I combat these people who are claiming that the Bible is a white man's book? You have all the proof you need tonight. And I'll tell you what, a lot of them know it's not a white man's book. They know it's not a white man's book because when we're not around, they argue to white people that all the people in the Bible were black. Right? But there is a reason, and I mentioned it earlier, we may touch on it later, to why the people in the conscious community continue these lies. They know they're lying. Okay? Acts 13, verse 1. Let's read it.
Acts 13 and 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Niger.
That were called Niger, right? Also get Acts 11 and 26. We're going to go here. Here are the original teachers of Christ after Christ's death, folks. Okay, which are the forerunners for Christianity. Okay, there were no white Christians originally. There were no white Christians. All of the Christians during Christ and the disciples' time initially were who? Were Israelites, black people. Until the conversion of Cornelius, and then we began to let white people learn under us in the church. So white people didn't start Christianity. They infiltrated Christianity after our forefathers lost Jerusalem in 70 A.D. Okay, let's look at this word black right here. Let's see if this is a white man's book. Simon, that was called Neger. That was called Neger. Black. And that's what they called us when they seen us over here after slavery. They were just letting us know, hey, you know you blacks on these slave ships that y'all were the original Christians. We even stole Christianity from you. Well, we didn't steal it. We infiltrated it. And we've cloaked our paganism with your Christ. See? See? But really, this isn't Christianity that we see in the earth today. It's ancient pagan Rome rebranded as Christians. All right? Are you with me? So even till this day, what the Pope has on, the rituals they're doing up in their temples, all of those rituals are Babylonian. You cannot find nothing what they're doing over there in the Christian church in the Bible, folks. The falling out, screaming, claiming they getting the Holy Ghost, started dancing and all this other hot mess. You cannot see none of that in the Bible at all. All right? Neger. If you don't know now, you know. Okay? Okay, so let's make it clear. The first Christians were black. So tell me, how is this a white man's book? Let's go to Acts 11 and 26. Elder Lawya, read that real quick.
Acts 11 and 26. And when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch. And it came to pass that a whole year they assembled themselves with the church and taught much people. And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch.
And the disciples were called Christians first at Antioch. This is when the Israelites became Christians. See? And at Antioch, there were what? There were men that were called black at Antioch, which means the original Christians were all black. So someone tell me now, when did the Bible become a white man's book? Huh? So when we split from Rome and took England, that's right, we set up our own government in Europe separate from the Vatican. Separate from the Vatican, folks. See, and they don't teach this history. As a matter of fact, white people, they'll say, well, there's a time in history where everything went black. It was a dark hole of history. No one knows what happened. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It was called the Dark Ages. During that time period just disappeared only a few hundred years ago. Oh, but you can tell me that the earth came out of a big bang 45 million years ago, but you can't tell me what happened just a few hundred years ago. There's this black history, this dark history in Europe that everyone just forgot. See, what they're not telling you is what? We were ruling Europe. That's right. We were ruling England, Ireland, the whole UK, folks. That was all us. Scotland, that was all us. We are the black nobility that was fighting against the Vatican. Talking about some darn white man's book. You can only teach that garbage over here in America. You can only teach that garbage here in America, folks. Let me get this real quick. 1526. A black man by the name of William Tyndale published the first Bible. And guess what? It was what? It's the Hebrew Old Testament. And you have what? The Greek New Testament. Both records belong to us because we were ruled under the Grecians. And guess what? It was tasked that we would actually rewrite the Hebrew text, which is the Torah and the Tanakh, in the Greek so that the Grecians can understand our governance. That became the Septuagint. William Tyndale put together the first Bible in 1562. A black man. What are you talking about, white people? Huh? Another black man by the name of King James, 1611, compiled the first what? Complete, which really, it was a greater translation because he got all these different translators together, 70 scholars. Right? I'm gonna bring that criminal in later. I need y'all to look at this, folks. Hold up, let me get it. If I have it here, hold up, let me get it. And guess what, folks? In the King James Version Bible, this is why they don't like King James. King James was able to break down and identify all the nations of the earth through family line. So that Esau couldn't hide himself. Look at this. Look at this. He shows Esau's full family. Idumeans. Look. Esau. Idumeans who converted into the Jews you see today. See? The Idumeans converted into Judaism. And then came that Antipater. You're talking about the 2nd century AD with the big conversion. Then you have Antipater. And then who came out of Antipater? Herod the Great, another Edomite who was there to kill our Lord and Savior at birth, the black child. Look at this. You see why they don't like King James? Because King James was identifying Esau's whole family line. Even when Esau would convert into Judaism, folks. Here's Zepho. Zepho, this criminal right here, Esau's grandson, went into Italy and set up the Vatican we see today. You see why they didn't like King James? King James was no homosexual. He wasn't white. None of those lies they allowed to fester in the stinking conscious community. All right? Look, this is history, folks. Here's Haman, the Agagite who made an agreement during the time of the Persians to try to kill our people in Iran. Another Edomite, Haman the Agagite. King James had a peg on all of Esau and was tracking Esau back then. What y'all talking about? Talking about the Bible is a white man's book. Are you kidding me? Right? And look at this here. Here is the God Presto Magic, this swine-eating incest pagan who slept with his sister Lucretia. This is the demon the Edomites put up to be the Presto Magic new Jesus Christ. And even till this day, you can find a statue of this Satanist in Spain and in different parts of Europe. Look, Cesare Borgia. Well, you can see him at the Last Supper, that painting, right? You know, sitting there, him and his sister and his father in a picture 3 times, sitting there eating a trough of pigs at the table, talking about the Last Supper. Here's a criminal they put up to be our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Presto Magic, there go your new Jesus. Yeah. Going to talk about the Bible is a white man's book. Where's that? Let me tell y'all, folks, the governing body of Esau could care less about the Bible. Okay? And to prove that, look at the world they have produced. That's totally contrary to it. They could care less. The only reason they cared about the Bible because at one time we reverenced them believing they were the people. That's the only value they had in it. Once they couldn't use it no more, they threw that to the side and went and became and set up yoga shops. Okay? Esau understands one thing and one thing only: power. And if he can't use the Bible for power, he'll discard it and use something else. Right? I need y'all to check this out. Esau could care less. And I wish Esau would come and try to tell me, here's the exegesis. This is how we should break down the Bible. You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing about breaking down the true doctrine of the Bible. Well, I'm an apologetic and I defend her, and you can't tell me nothing because why? Because the world you control isn't being ran through the Bible's morals. Okay, and you have the power to do so. If you wanted people to follow the Bible, you have the military and all of the firepower behind you to force the world to do it. There wouldn't be rainbow flags in every major city downtown if you truly believed in the Bible as a Christian with all the authority you have. Guess what? You wouldn't let that rock at all. Okay? So don't come to me and tell me you want to debate the Bible when guess what? The world you've produced proves to us you don't know the Bible. You think if we were in charge with all the power to execute on the earth that we would allow the world to be as it is? Huh? And so, folks, this is what they feared. They feared we would actually find out. These people don't know the Bible. They only use the Bible to execute seniority and superiority over other people. That's the only part about the Bible they like. That's it. If they can convince us that they're the people, they like that part of it. All right? Let's go to Christ. Revelation, the first chapter. Let me tell you, folks, Esau only understands power. No sooner as we found out we were Israelites, they threw the Bible to the side. And like I said, next thing you know, everybody running around with yoga pants. Okay? They're women, everybody. Everybody running around with yoga pants on now. They joined the dojo now. Okay, they got a Buddha sitting on the same mantelpiece that Cesar Borgia picture used to be. Esau can switch it up. He don't care. I'm gonna tell you, he'll use it until the wheels fall off, and then you say, okay, the gig is up. The black people know the Israelites now. Okay, what are we gonna do now to undermine them? We can't use the book no more. And see, I can understand the white man doing what he's doing. But it trips me out how our own people go against the book. When the book is talking about you. You're the people and trying to deny the only book that can help save us out of this. Revelation 1. Right? And then we're going to open it up in a moment. Let's go straight to it. Let's go straight to 13.
Yes, sir. Revelation 1:13. And in the midst of the seven candlesticks, one like the Son of Man, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow.
As white as snow. So his hair and heads were white and woolly. The other day when we were in South Carolina, Brother Leonard, I said, stand up. There it is right there. You know, he got dark skin. His white, his hair is white. His beard is white. His mustache is white. That's how Christ looked. And his eyes what?
His eyes were as a flame of fire.
15.
And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burnt in a furnace. And his voice as the sound of many waters.
And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace. You burn anything in a furnace, folks, what color is going to come out? So let me tell you, folks, and what I'm teaching right here, the people in the conscious community have heard this from every Israelite in New York since the inception of our people beginning the awakening. They have heard this. They know that the people in the Bible are black. They know this. But they still come against the Bible, not because they believe the Bible is tampered with. It gets in the way of their grift that they've continually lived. They lived grifting on our people who are predominantly Bible believers. And that's what it's about, convincing, because without our people who came out of slavery, who believed in the Bible, who would fund the conscious community? Think about that, folks. So they had to convince us to jump ship out of our book in order for them to get people they can grift off of. And see, the conscious community, they don't have one religion. It's whatever religion they can use to grift. Okay? It can be Islam. It can be the Bible is tampered with, and they'll go there so they can get you into some Egyptian garbage. Folks, they've been turned Africanism into a religion. Okay? Wakanda in Africa, making us believe that it was the paradise and all this other stuff. And that's nothing, shade against our people in Africa. But they made it out to be this utopia to Christians so that they can convince them to go into African religions such as hoodoo, voodoo, and all this other crap they deal with. Okay. I'm going to tell you. And people want, I'm going to tell you why they can't deal with the Bible, folks, because you have to have a conscience to believe in the Bible. You have to have a conscience towards some level of goodwill. But they know they're grifters. See? And you can't hold them to something because what? What book can you say, well, hold up. God said according to this precept, you weren't supposed to do this. Right? They'll look right. We don't believe in no Bible. They'll look right at you. You can't hold them to task on anything because what? There is no foundation spiritually to hold them to anything. They can come out since 2010 and say, listen, I'm going to set up a school for boys. I'm looking at this college. I'm looking at that college. But guess what? Send me that money. And then it'd be 2026, 16 years later. But you know why they can do that? Because there's no book, no rule to hold them to their thievery. See, if they were following the Bible, you can at least say, well, didn't the Bible say thou shalt not steal? And there's also rules in the Bible, if you steal from a person, how to repay it. The proper way to repay, the civil way of repaying someone you stole from is in the Bible. But if you tell people, well, the Bible's tampered with, that's a white man's book. So it's a white man's book. You can't hold me to those rules. But send me some money and the school going to open in 2045, right? The Marcus Garvey, Michael Jackson school for boys with glitter socks on. See? Someone asked, can we break down the red eyes? Of course, because it says his eyes would be what? Let's get it real quick. Red with wine.
Yes, sir. Genesis 49.
Genesis 49. Can we break down the red eyes? Well, they called Christ a wine bibber. They was trying to mock him because Christ, he liked wine. Genesis 49. Let's read it.
Yes, sir. Genesis 49 and 10.
Let's read it.
The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come. And unto him shall the gathering of the people be.
Read.
Binding his foal unto the vine, and his donkey's coat unto the choice vine, he washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes.
It's speaking of Christ. Read.
His eyes shall be red with wine.
Shall be what?
His eyes shall be red with wine.
That's right. That's the burning flame or the red flame of eyes you see in the book of Revelation. Like the whites of his eyes were red, bloodshot red. His eyes shall be red with wine, read.
And his teeth white with milk.
And that's how your teeth become white. Milk. Raw milk makes your teeth white, not fluoride. Fluoride is a neurotoxin. It's a poison. It makes you slow. It slows your brain down. Fluoride is a poison, okay? You're supposed to be using milk to make your teeth white. Not fluoride, okay? His eyes shall be red with wine and his teeth white with milk. That's a prophecy of Christ's eyes of flaming fire. Right there, okay? You got that? You got that. And this is what's deep about this, Elder. I was trying to stay away from doing the school. I didn't want to deal with the liability because, you know, when you're dealing with people's children, people, like even me, anyone can take that personal when it comes to their children. Right? So,
right.
I didn't even want to deal with the school because there's so many nuances and things that can go wrong and somebody blame it on the child. And now the church have to suffer indirectly when we were a church? Why did we go into something that could allow someone to be offended with how their children are being handled if someone claimed that something went wrong or whatever? So initially, I didn't even want to deal with the school, but through what they're doing in the school with the indoctrination and turning our children with septum rings and LGBTQ and sex education, and they're not teaching true history anymore. They've destroyed the schools. Right? The schools have become a campground to do what? To indoctrinate and to get more people to follow the demo nuts that they call the Democrats. It's a breeding ground for nut jobs. Okay? And so we had to do it. We're like, you know what? We have to teach our children. And it didn't take 10 years. It didn't take 15 years. And that's you know, even back then when this guy came on our broadcast, we found out later that Umar cat from Philly was a thief. Talking about he got a school. No, you got some buildings. That's not no school. And we're living in a time right now, out of nowhere, through the kindness of people's heart who donated to the I Am Royal Academy. Folks, we just did a graduation for our children. It didn't take no millions of dollars. It didn't take no years. It just took some serious people who cared. Some serious people who was willing to dedicate their time for the future, for our future. And that lets me know how big of a grift that is. And I'm going to tell you, folks, here's the shame part about it. Esau will only allow this to go on if it's if it's destroying our people. You think if this guy would have grifted money from the white community or any other, he'd still be running around talking about send me some money for a school? And now that I see finally how a school is ran, and I thank the volunteers, I thank all these people who behind I Am Royal Academy, there's no way this guy should go another day and get away with it. If we were able to do this within a few months and have a graduation, we did a whole, I'm talking about from grades 1 through 12. And since COVID, everything moved online anyway, where the parents can take their own children to take their SATs. So if this guy really wanted to do a school, he could just do it online because that's where it's trending at anyway. But he need a building because a building is the grift. And this comes around full circle. People wonder why I'm pointing that out. Well, I'm pointing that out, folks, because these are the same people who try to get us out of the Bible. Why? Because they don't want to be accountable for what they're doing against us. You can't hold them to anything because they truly believe in nothing. But they need the passion that comes with Bible believers because what? Bible believers have compassion. And the conscious community, they see that as a weakness to exploit, that should be exploited. Let me tell you, folks, and I'm going to tell you, this is why a lot of nations don't respect us. Well, we'll let a guy run roughshod in our community throughout the earth and steal from us, and nothing happens. A person should know, hey, if I do this, and this, there's consequences for that from those same people. There's no way, folks, that I would promise a school for our children and not deliver it. No way. You know how many years families been asking me, all the church members we have, when can we do a school, something for our children? And folks, we shied away from it, not wanting to deal with any liabilities or nothing, but we had to. I'm going to tell you, this is why people don't respect us. When you have somebody walking around and just stealing from the people with no consequences attached. Why? Well, this is what you get, folks. That's the benefit that they have not believing in the Bible. Because you can't hold them to anything. Yeah? You be like, oh, the 10 Commandments say, thou shalt not commit adultery. Y'all can't. They be like, listen, we don't follow the Bible. That's a white man's book. Right? So we can do whatever we want to do. See? Speaking of the school, Elder, I need to make this announcement real quick. We're talking about a real school, actually. And I Am Royal Academy, we're looking for teachers. Teacher volunteers are needed as we expand the I Am Royal Academy school. Okay? Shalom, family, as we prepare for the 26-27 school year. I Am Royal Academy is seeking dedicated volunteers to support our students and programs. We are currently looking for the following: IEP support, ASL teachers, art teachers grades 1 through 12, math teachers grades 3rd through 5th grades, reading teachers 1st through 3rd grades, history teachers, we're going to throw in some Hebrew history, history teachers 1st through 8th grades, science teachers 1 through 12, English teachers we need from 9 to 12, high school English teachers, gardening teachers teaching our children how to garden from grades 1 through 12, home economic teachers teaching our young men and women how to cook, how to bake, culinary skills 1 through 12, fitness and nutrition teachers grades 1 through 5. If you are interested in serving in any of these areas, please send interest inquiries to admin@IamRoyalAcademy.org. I repeat, admin@IamRoyalAcademy.org for more information. Thawada, we do appreciate your support, and yes, you will be sowing into the next generation of kingdom people. Okay? All right, so we're looking for some volunteers as we expand this. And folks, we don't have grants, nothing. Everything is coming out of whatever people donate to I Am Royal Academy. The money goes towards sustaining this program. All right? The parents are involved to get the SATs in any respective areas. And folks, it is accredited based on how it's set up with the participation of the parents. All right? So I wanted to put that out there. These are the volunteers we need right now for these specific areas, okay? Again, admin@IamRoyalAcademy.org. And don't forget, the Hebrew and Bible Academy begins this coming Sunday. You don't want to miss this academy, okay? Go to historytimes.org to enroll. Okay, Patricia, do me a favor, because I don't have the administration roles of all the emails. There's a separate department for that, Patricia. But if you want to volunteer, you're right, please, Patricia, send an email to admin@IamRoyalAcademy.org so that those who are in charge of this particular email can respond back to you. Okay. Right. I wear about a billion hats. Right. Okay. Someone says I have questions. Well, before it's over, I'm going to go to a commercial break and turn it over to Elder Lawya and see if anything he would have to say on why the conscious community continue to lie, claiming that the book is a white man's book when it's clear it's not. Okay. All right. So we'll be right back and we'll answer any questions you might have straight to the point. We'll be back in 1 minute and 20 seconds.
The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that he used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding it hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited.
All right, Elder Lawya, you with me?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay. So anything you'd like to say before we segue into the questions?
Yes, sir. Just a few quick points and one quick scripture.
Okay.
In regards to those who would deny the book based on who they believe the authors of the book are or who they believe compiled the book. One thing I often say in regards to the Bible is that me personally, regardless of who wrote the book, regardless of who compiled the book, whatever their identity is, let's say hypothetically it was white people and that a white man compiled the book, so on and so forth.
Okay.
This book would have been the greatest creation that the white man have ever created. With the wisdom, the moral codes, and believe it or not, regardless of what it is you believe concerning the book, ultimately, you're going to be judged based upon the morality in this book, regardless of what you believe. So as you were mentioning earlier, the reason why we believe the book, number one, is because of the morality in the book. But then secondly, for those who have sinned against the morality in the book and the moral principles of the book offers the teachings of redemption, repentance, and salvation for those who have sinned against the moral codes, so that we have a chance to partake in God's kingdom. Now, I know that's going above the mind of the carnal, everyday, so-called conscious individual who, you know, the idea of a kingdom, so on and so forth, in his mind, that's a fairy tale. But for us, so is the what they talk about ancient. The way they talk about ancient Egypt to us is a fairy tale. Okay, that's Wakanda to us. The way they talk about Africa, that's a fairy tale to us. Okay, but nonetheless, just a quick scripture in the book of Revelation 20 to show you that regardless of what you believe, in fact, before we go there, let's go to Romans, the 3rd chapter, to show that regardless of what you believe concerning this book, because I believe you may still have those who may watch this, who may see it, and still may conclude amongst themselves or within themselves that, well, I still don't believe the book. I still believe it's a white man's book, and therefore I'm not going to trust it, not going to read it, not going to research it, not going to take on the principles and the moral codes and the wisdom and the salvation that is taught in the book. Let's see what the Bible says about that. First, in the book of Romans chapter 3 and verse number 3, it says, For what if some did not believe, like those in the so-called conscious community, like those who refer to themselves as either black Muslims or black people who have adopted Islam? They say within themselves that, well, I don't believe the Bible, or I just believe the parts of the Bible that confirm my belief system or my religion. The Bible says, for what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? Is your unbelief going to change the prophecies and the covenants and everything that the Bible teaches? God forbid. Yea, let God be true, but every man a liar. That's the white man, that's the black man, that's the Chinese man. The Bible says, let God be true, but every man a liar. And that's another thing. The Bible, as you mentioned earlier, documents the history of all nations. It also documents the pitfalls. It documents the good, the bad, and the ugly of all nations. No nation in this Bible, even the chosen nation, the Israelites, gets away scot-free according to this book. This book is a book of true justice, where, yes, there is a chosen people, there is a favored people, but even they don't escape the judgment of God. And that leads me to my last point, Revelation chapter.
Before you go there, there's one thing I wanted to say on what you've just mentioned.
Yes, sir.
When it states here, real quick, for what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? Is God going to stop doing what he's doing because some simpleton don't want to believe the Bible? Right?
Right.
God forbid, which is no. You're not stopping anything. You're not stopping the show. Let God be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings and mightest overcome when thou judge. The Most High is justified in his sayings through the word. You tell me one prophecy the Bible stated would happen that didn't.
That's right.
So that in of itself tell you the Most High is true above all, man. Because if there's a place where you can go into the Bible and say, aha, here's proof of prophecy that didn't happen according to your book, you all would have done that already, not believing in it. So when it says, let God be true and every man a liar, it's talking about the prophecies. What prophecy has failed? Proven that this book is 100% spot on. Now man can come up short, but not God, not the word of God. But I just wanted to put that out there. But go ahead, Elder Lawya.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. One last point in scripture, Revelation 20:11. It says, and I saw a great white throne and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. Regardless of who we think wrote the Bible, regardless of who we believe about ourselves, at the end of the day, every last one of us will have to stand before this great white throne. Verse 12 says, and I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were opened. And another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works. So everyone is going to be judged, regardless of whether you think you are from ancient Kemet, regardless if you think you from, whatever you think about yourself. You think you're a Muslim, whatever you consider about yourself. If you deal with the Orishas, if you believe in voodoo, hoodoo, if you believe in ancient Kemet religion, regardless of what you believe, you will be judged according to the same book that you deny. So it's your benefit to become acquainted with the book, because you will be judged according to the book. And with that, I conclude.
Yeah. See, but what they try to do, Elder, they try to throw shade at the book, blaming the white man, right? Man, look at the white man, all the bad things he did, and you're trying to do what? You're trying to tie the negative he's done with the book, knowing that what? You wouldn't follow the book even if it wasn't tied to the white man. The book,
Exactly.
you're really against the book because it condemns your actions, what you're doing in life that you know is wrong according to the Bible.
That's right.
So what they try to do is they use these straw man arguments using the white man, knowing their real issue is not the white man. Their real issue is they know that if they were to follow the book, they would have to change how they're operating in the earth, how they're interacting with us. There would be no polites running around scamming, putting on a hard hat, talking about, look at this construction that I'm working on, and I'm doing big things after borrowing a hard hat. Let's go scam a few dollars.
Right.
Right? Talking about, yeah, man, these houses, we building houses. We building houses out of crates now, out of iron hall crates now. And the guy came on the next day saying, man, listen, I'm not doing nothing with this guy. He came through my spot and put on a hard hat. Let me tell you, folks, the reason why they're not dealing with the Bible is because they know the Bible condemns their actions.
Right.
It condemned their actions because by not believing in the Bible, you're not accountable to anyone for anything. Right? So, I mean, you got a bunch of scammers. They'll come and say, man, you got to realize their religion is scamming in the conscious community. That's their religion. This is how they survive. They come to you and say, yeah, man. Oh, yeah, man. You need to let me do some paperwork. You know, as a sovereign Moor, you give me some money and I can run your Social Security and the paperwork because there's a lot of money that's offered to you as a free man. You'd be like, yeah, how much? Man, your Social Security probably, let me run the numbers. let me run the numbers real quick. Man, it looked like, man, okay, you work at this job? Man, listen, you got about 2 million sitting somewhere. Like, what, 2 million? Yeah, man. What you got to do is give me $3,000 to do your paperwork. I'm like, I give you 3,000, I get back 2 million? Yeah. See, I started flipping it on them though, because when I was in England and going to other places, I would go sit down in this mess and I'll look at it. And I'm like, so you get 3,000, I get 2 million. Oh yeah. All right. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do you one better. I will sign paperwork where you can do my paperwork. And I'll tell you what you get back, I'll take 25% of that and you can have 75%. Just give me $500,000. You take 1.5 million and I'm good. You should have seen when I offered that situation, like, man, this dude, he's looking around, like this dude going to get in front of my grift here. There's nobody in their right mind who know they can give you $2 million from your Social Security is going to take 3,000 up front.
Right.
I'm like, the math ain't math. And I'm like, y'all can't see y'all got a grifter up in here? I'm like, no, brother, I'll tell you what. If you can make me a sovereign man and my Social Security number can pop off 2 million, hey, you take 1.5. But I'm not giving you nothing right now. Next thing you know, they scatter like roaches. That tassel on the side of that red bucket, that Kentucky Fried Chicken hat, that thing spins around and they out of there. Folks, the religion is scamming naive Christians. They take our trust in Christ. They see that as a weakness to grift on. I'm going to tell you, folks. All of them, man. Talking about one dude came in my class years ago when I was, we was teaching in Winfield. This guy come in, this guy come to my class and we had a little class elder. And he's looking at me talking about, yeah, man, gods and earth. I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, I'm like, whose guy is this? He says, yeah, we gods. We gods. I'm like, okay, you guys. I'm like, listen, bro, this ain't that type of class. You get your pen and pad. I'm going up in his Bible. You follow these precepts. And the whole time he got the Bible in front of him. He ain't going. He's just looking at me, staring at me. I'm like, whose guy is this? Right? And then he talking about he's God, right? We break down the class like 9:30. And here it is, God is rummaging for bus tokens to get on the bus.
Wow.
I'm like, he talking about, man, where my tokens at? I'm like, God need tokens? And
Wow.
he was a light-skinned dude. His nose turned real red when I said that. Real light-skinned. You can see it looking at me, staring at me. I'm like, brother, you God and need tokens? I'm like, brother, you got to snap out of this, man. He's sitting there with a black and mild rolled up in his ear talking about he's God. My Lord, man, listen. The conscious community is a joke. All of it is a joke. Our greatest opposition while trying to teach our people are these scammers. Now, they're looking into it because they're trying to see how can they use what we do and add it to their grift. That's what they do. He's sitting there rummaging for a pack of tokens talking about he's God and earth. I'm like, listen, bro, listen. We dealing with some precepts right here. And then next thing you know, he looks at me, right? And he says this. You know Shakespeare wrote the Bible, right? I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That's one I've heard that before. I'm like, here it is. He said, well, if you go to Psalms and you see the letters, it reads Shakespeare. I'm like, all right. Go, show me that. Show me that. And what they bank on, folks, they bank on Christians who haven't read the Bible, where they can say anything and a Christian will just give up all hope on the only book that can help us. All right, 445-888-2759. I have a question. Someone has a question. Let me call them in. Let me call them in. They lie on King James. Talking about King James was a homosexual white man. Lawya. They lie on the Bible talking about Shakespeare. Then another one. You know the Marcion family is the one behind Christianity. Another lie. I'd be like, man, let's cut the chase. Let's not argue this Bible, man. What is your grift? Because obviously, the Bible is up against anything you're peddling. Okay, the Bible is in the way of anything you're peddling. So tell me, if I'm not to read the Bible, what should we be reading then? You go into these conscious community places, there's books everywhere. They'll teach from a bookshop. So, okay. I'm supposed to put down the Bible and read what then? All right, let me call them in. We got a few questions. One, 4, 8. All right, call them in. Three, 2, 3. 1, 4. All right, let me call them in. If you text the number 445-888 445-888-2759, the number is right here on your screen at the bottom here. If you text me, I'll call you back if you have a question. 323, I'm calling you.
323.
Okay, 323, I tried. You had a question. I tried to call you. Let me get to the next person. If you don't pick up, I'm going to the next call. Don't forget to go to historytimes.org. Week 1 of the Academy starts this Sunday.
Hello.
279 area code. Is your question on this particular topic?
No, sir.
Okay, well, let me call you after the broadcast, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bless you.
Bye.
478 area code.
Brother Car.
Blessings. Is your question on this particular topic?
Oh, I just wanna thank you for the lesson.
Do me a favor. Turn off the broadcast in the background so I can hear you clearly.
Turn it off. Hello?
Yes.
Yes. Just want to thank you for the lesson. Cover a lot of things that I was pondering inside of my head. I spoke to you several times.
Okay, so what was you pondering inside of your head that had you thank me for the lesson?
Like when you talk about I was talking to a friend where I just moved into, and he's Jewish, and he was telling me he never spoke to somebody who know the truth like how I know it, because we even talk about, when you talk about the Maccabees of the 4th century.
Yeah.
And he was telling me about where's the white, when they wanted to take over, he even was admitting to it, and he was saying that, how do I know all of this stuff? And when I told him, I said, is this church I follow called GOCC? He said he never heard of it. So I let him listen to the 12 tribes. That's what one of the lessons that I listened to, what got me drawn into. And he was like, well, to tell you the truth, you're one of a kind, because I've been working here for 5 years, and I see hundreds of thousands of people, and I never met a brother who I could actually speak to on a level with no argument, no animosity or anything like that. I just want to thank you for opening my eyes on a lot of things that most of the times I used to fight when people used to call me the N-word, but I uploaded when you talk about Acts chapter 13, verse 1 and 3, when it said what the actually Christians was doing. But now I see my brothers nowadays, they just start waking up. But back in the day, we was executing the law. But most of my brothers today, when he said in
Well, let's do this, brother, because there's a lot of noise in the background. But I do have your point. All praises be to the Most High, and go hug those children. All right.
Yes. You I don't know if you remember me. My name is Glenn. You said you was gonna call me back, but I know you're busy, so I'm just reminding you that I'm still here.
I'll call you. I'll call you, Glenn. All right.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. All praises be to the Most High. He's teaching this Jewish guy some knowledge. That's good. Because
praise the Most High.
Yeah, praise the Most High, because, hey, in order for them to lie to us, they have to lie to their own people. And this is why I don't want to run around with an axe to grind against every person, who doesn't look like me. I mean, they've been lied to also. So I'm like, am I supposed to run around with an axe to grind on every... If a white guy got a yarmulke on, or... Nah. they've been lied to also. So you got to be all things to all men to gain a few. Okay. I mean, who not going to receive the fact of your father and mother tell you you're the chosen people? Who going to deny that information? Right? They ate that up. All right. Question about lesson. What'd you say, Elder?
Yeah, I'm gonna step away for just one quick second.
All right. I'm gonna put it on the main screen then and call this number in. 909 has an actual question on the lesson. All praises. Let me call you in. 909. And those who would like to come in through Zoom, I put the Zoom link there. I'll be on for another 10-15 minutes, and then we'll wish you all Godspeed. 909, I'm about to call you in. (909) area code.
Hello?
Blessings. You said you had a question on the lesson tonight?
Yes, I want to make a statement about the about what the conscious community says about the white man's book.
Yeah.
The rebuttal I always give them, because they like to say that they'll tell you that it's the white man's book. You love the white man so much, and my simple rebuttal is, I say, sir, I think you like them more than I do. I said, the only thing he had to do was hold the book up and say it was his book, and you didn't even take the time out to read it. That's how much you love him. The only thing he had to do was tell you something. You didn't even want to research it. Just assume that it was his book, and you didn't even research it.
Oh, yeah, that's a good retort. Like, listen, talking about you love the white man for reading the Bible. No, you love the white man for believing that he was the man, that he was the writer of the Bible. You love him more than we do, right?
Yeah. Because you didn't even try to read it. Like in the Bible tells you that Moses passed for the Egyptian son, right? The Pharaoh's son, right?
Yeah.
And during that time, it was mostly our people and Hamites, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I wanted to say. That was it. I've been watching you guys since I'm 40 now. I've been watching you since I was 22.
Oh, look at that.
And yeah, I was at Chapin College, and I remember seeing you guys doing street preachers. And Brother Lawya didn't have he had no hair on his face. He was maybe 135 pounds.
Yeah, he's a man now.
Yeah, he's a man with kids, man. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
Ain't that something?
So that's all I was doing with this call to say that.
Thank you. And I'm going to say it again. They know it's not a white man's book. I'm going to tell you that right now. They know it's not a white man's book. Because the conscious community argue all the time with white people and say that the original people of the Bible were black. Okay, the reality is they don't want to be held to the rules within the book. That's really what it comes down to. I'll tell you what. If that was a Christian man, I'm going to use Umar as an example. If a Christian man who owned a church promised a school and got millions of dollars from the community, how long you think he would have been able to keep that grift going? No, you can't do that. You're under a nonprofit, you have a church, and people believe in your bishopric. See? So that conscious community can get away with certain things that others can't. Right? Because he promised a school. That's all he have to do. Okay. All right? When is it coming? It's coming someday. You can see, listen, I got running water. Okay, what's the curriculum? Where's the staff? Okay. Did you roll out the programs for a daily basis, All right, so the new grift is going to be, the white man didn't pass my inspection. That's going to be the next one. Or it's a bunch of Negroes who undermine and knowing what I'm trying to do for the black boys. How you doing, Lil Zay? Good to see you, young man. Blessings to you.
Shalom, Elder.
How are you?
I've been well. How about you?
I am blessed by the Almighty. Talk to me, young man.
Yes, sir, man. I had 2 questions for you, but first and foremost, all praises to the Most High. I know it's been a second. I kind of want to give you an update. I've been doing good, learning about the medicine and stuff. I've been kind of trying to dive on that. I done started making syrups and all that stuff. But my first question for you, I had about last week, but I want to say about Friday, Saturday, I had one of my homeboys. He called me. He texted me, and he asked what was our take on the solar eclipses. I didn't know what to really tell him about that, so I came to ask you about it.
Okay, hold on.
Yes, sir.
1 second.
Yes, sir. You go.
Hold on. I'm trying to do something here. Zoom. Mix. Hold on. Hold on.
That's pretty neat idea. They'll set up.
Yes, sir.
1 second, all right?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to video capture. Hold on. I got to do it a video capture. Hold on.
Okay.
You see me now, right? There.
Yes, sir. I've been able to see you.
Okay, good. I'm going to bring you in so they can see you also.
Yes, sir.
1 second. Right here. Where are you? I'm going to bring you through here. All right. Well, I'm trying to bring you in so they can see you, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Got that.
No, sir. You can see the... I'm good.
Hold on.
The light changes. You can turn it on, but...
All right, get that out of the way. There you go. Save. Zoom meeting. There you go. All right. Zoom meeting is here. Hold on.
It's a good count. It's got that.
Zoom. Oh, there you go. All right, when it comes to solar eclipses, they're just what you would call markers in time. That's all it is. You got 364 days, and then you have jubilees, which breaks down to sevens, and sometimes you have a jubilee of 70s, where you have 100, you have 70, and you have sevens, or a countdown of sevens. When it comes to the eclipse, it's marking a time based on jubilees, whether it be every 70 years, every 50 years, and things of that nature. It's a marking of time. It's no different than when you have two hands, right? You have the hand that shows the hour, and the one that sweeps around, and then they'll meet at midnight, and then they'll meet at the bottom. All that comes from the original sundial, where when time meets together, marking a cycle down all the way until the Jubilees are done. So when the sun and moon is together, it's just marking a time of Jubilee.
Got you.
A marker. That's all it is.
That's actually what I thought. Based off everything we knew when I remember you were talking about, I think around New Year's when everything happened, and we were talking about the planetary alignment and all that. I was like, if I use that logic, the solar eclipses would be just a marking of time.
That's all it is, a marking of time. That's all it is. And it depends on whether or not you're dealing with from 50, 70, 100, or what the marker is, right? When you that's when I was going into time like it was crazy when I was overseas, because they said in particular, hold on, that they can mark one of the greatest eclipses back during the time of Christ's birth. That marked an eclipse. Another eclipse that they mark is the time where they believe the time that Christ was crucified. So there's a whole study. I need to go back into it because I have it in my books, but it's just a marker of time. That's all it is.
And my other question, it deals with the studying of the medicine and stuff like that. I ran into it in this book I got here from Amazon.
You mean the herbs?
Yes, sir. The herbs.
Okay, go on.
And the marijuana plant came up in there, but I wanted your take on if I should even worry about what to do with that. Is that something I could use in a medicinal way? Is there ways for us to use it without being in violation of, stuff, the laws and stuff in the Bible, or just avoid it entirely?
I would avoid it entirely because right now I believe that it's a trap.
Gotcha.
It's a trap. What do I mean by that? And you had no idea, young man, what I had on my screen. Someone sent me this earlier. It was a story I was going to handle this coming Sunday. But since you brought it up, I'm going to read it. Right?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to read it for you. A matter of fact, I'll be able to share it on Zoom for you.
Yes, sir.
Allow. Okay, I'm sharing that with you. You see it?
Yes, sir.
Right? You had no idea that I was going to actually show that, but I'm sharing it with you, right?
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to show them what I'm showing you. This is from Marijuana Moment. A sister or brother sent that to my messages today. New Virginia law forces medical cannabis patients to choose between their medicine and their housing. Op-ed. Medical cannabis patients in recovery deserve the same opportunity for stable housing as any other patient managing a chronic condition with a lawful prescribed medication. Virginia's recovery housing system is now forcing legal medical cannabis patients out of stable, certified homes, not because of any new public safety threat, but because a state law passed before cannabis was federally recognized as having accepted medical value refuses to catch up with reality. So let me tell you, so they're using this cannabis thing as a proxy, right? Like for instance, under the Democrats, it was one thing because they can give you housing and all these others claiming that you had issues when really you would just these people wanted to get high. But through this, they'll give you housing. They would vote for Democrats and to hold seats for the House of Representatives so they can allocate more money. If you got more constituency, then you control the purse strings for each area. This is why they was giving this stuff out. But now that Trump is in office, they're using it as a political football to say, nah, the Democrats was doing this to get votes. We're switching this whole thing around with cannabis and we're kicking these people out. So it'll take nothing for them to turn around and go after people who are not on board with them. Okay? If you're dealing with it, at any time they can call it illegal and lock you up. So they use this cannabis thing as a political football to use it against people, right? If you're not for the government, right? And they'll give people the license to do it if they're handpicked by the government. Okay? You're living in the wrong skin. So you can, let me tell you, you're not going to get away with what Esau get away with this stuff. And so because of that, you should stay far away from cannabis as possible.
Yes, sir.
All right? Stay far. And guess what? It does have a lot of medicinal values in it when it comes to certain things. But unfortunate for our people, we have abused it. The majority of people who really need, the majority of people that's dealing with marijuana, there's nothing physically wrong. There's nothing wrong with them outside of them wanting to get high. Right? Mm-hmm. So when you were looking into it, right, you was going to use it for what? You was going to use it in your practice for what?
It wasn't that I was going to use it. I saw it in there, and I was curious on what I could use it for that would be of medicinal value. Because I know he's pretty much like a family friend or an uncle. He was talking about using it for like pain, and make it in oils and rub it on you for like pain and stuff like that. And so I was just kind of curious on what I could use it for, like an oil or something. That's kind of
okay. Well, yeah. Just look. I mean, if you're part of the herb, you know, if you're part of the herb community, you're learning what it is to utilize the herbs or whatever the case is. Look into it, but understand there's a difference of what it was meant to be utilized for, and how they're at. What they have done is they've actually engineered the cannabis so that they can ramp up the part of the cannabis that actually gets people high as a gateway with spirit. So a lot of this stuff is synthetic. A lot of this stuff is created to cause all types of issues psychologically and all that, opening up portals for spirits in people, all of that. So if you're in the herb area, I'm not going to tell you not to research its benefits, but also look at, okay, what does this do that another herb can't do? Right? So you should look at it that way. Look at the benefits of it and say, well, okay, is there other herbs that can do the same thing without the drawbacks of cannabis? And choose that, because America have always used marijuana as a political football, mainly against us. The example I can give you is when we were growing up, right? We was growing up, they had these little yellow reefer bags. I'll never forget them. You know, everybody on the block, the family, everybody had their little nickel bags of, my god sister Ann would come from the projects with nickel bags and all that. And I remember her in the room with my brother, Poochie, and they would, you know, put it on the bed and separate the seeds and all that. And then next thing you know, he's growing. He's growing his own marijuana plants, right? Yeah. But then next thing you know, what's going on? You got cops and all that knocking down doors because people are planting their own marijuana plants as contraband. So it was always used as some, like what the white people can do, we can't do. He started planting that stuff. Next thing you know, they kicking down doors. So they can always switch the laws on this to go after whoever they would like. That's why they love to use marijuana in this middle ground so that the government can actually attack people indirectly through it. Right? So I would leave it alone altogether. Right?
Yes, sir.
All right? My
Thank
brother.
you very much.
My
Yes,
brother.
sir. Shalom.
Shalom. We'll be going soon, but there's one call that was missed. I'm going to try it again, and we'll leave it there. All right, my brother. You have a good night. I hope to see you soon.
Yes, sir. I'll be back sometime.
My
So,
brother. You can let yourself out. History. Call. Last call for tonight, this evening.
Hello. Hello.
Hey, how you doing? And don't forget, folks, when I was growing up, marijuana was labeled the gateway drug. It was usually the drug one would do before going into the harder stuff. So make no bones about it. People know what they're dealing with marijuana for. It's the high. And it got nothing to do with, you can say you having mental anguish or anxiety and they'll write you a cannabis prescription. But really it's to keep you docile. That's how they were able to take over Jamaica. 323 area code, talk to me.
Hello, Elder. I just have a question about one of the scriptures.
What is it pertaining to a lesson what we did tonight?
Yes.
Okay, chapter and verse.
I don't have it right now, but I could explain it to you.
Yeah. What did it say?
Okay, it's about when it was asking about what Solomon said.
Yeah, talking about I'm black but comely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, well, the part that I actually did not understand was like when he said, I'm black, but calmly you daughters of Jerusalem. So if the daughters of Jerusalem is already black, then why would he say that?
Well, you have to realize what it's saying here is that I'm black but beautiful. That's all it's saying.
Okay.
I don't understand what the question is.
Well, that was actually the question. It's just, I'm just saying if they were all already black, then I just didn't understand why he
Are you
needed
saying
to
that
say
it's the inverse, that they must be white if he's going to say they're black? It's just stating that I'm black but lovely, black but comely, O daughters of Jerusalem. It isn't inferring any other race, right?
Right.
Or any other color.
Okay. I didn't understand. I was just a little confused. 'Cause,
Okay.
I mean, I'm black too, but I just was trying to understand it.
Okay, hey, you're black, I'm black, we're black and comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem.
Okay.
All right. I tell you what, you can't look at that scripture and say that someone is white. You got something to say, Elder Lawya?
Yes, sir. If you read on verse 6, I think verse 6 gives a little bit of more insight as to why it's highlighting that the person in verse 5 is black.
Okay, let's read verse 6. You ready?
It says, look not.
Yes.
Okay, because she can't hear you, Elder Lawya, so I can hear you in my ear. Right?
All right.
So let's go to Songs of Solomon 1 verse 6. Let's read that, right?
Okay.
I'm going to read it. I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem. O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. Look not upon me because I am black, because the sun have looked upon me. My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but mine own vineyard have I not kept. So you see it's talking about what? I am black, right? You see it? Son?
Yes.
Black?
Yes.
You got it?
Yes.
Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. Show 'em on. All right, bless.
Not to mention as well, you know,
Let me let Elder Lawyer break it down for you here, because I'm
Go
ahead, Lawyer. She can hear you now.
Yes, sir. Yeah, not to mention as well, and I just want to give this an example that we can all relate to.
Okay.
Every last one of us.
She can't hear you, so let me straighten it out.
All right.
All right. Devices. Speaker. Oh, she can hear you now, Another Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Again, shalom, sis. That is a very good question. And I want to give an example that we can all relate to growing up in the black community. Every last one of us was different shades of brown. Whether you were light brown, whether you were, you know, I guess you would call a mid-complexion brown, or you were dark brown. Now, usually the dark brown person, even though everybody was black or so-called black, usually the dark brown person, it was their blackness or their skin tone that was highlighted and magnified by everyone else, to the point where the darker skinned person would have what? They would have nicknames and almost epithets to highlight the fact that they were darker than everybody else. Like growing up, you had that person on the block named Black, or Jade Black, or, you know, Black Todd, Black Rob. Everybody's black, but it seems like because this person's skin tone is a little darker than everybody else, they're the ones that kind of draw the ire as far as being called black. So in this instance, it's not that everyone else is white. It says that the sun have looked upon me, which infers that this person is probably a little bit darker than everybody else. That's the point I wanted to bring out.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. I understand better.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's different shades we grew up at, and sometimes you have to defend, you know, your place in blackness. And it's something I can relate to, you know. But it was good. And you come at me, boy, hey, it's time to knuckle up, because when I come back, boy, my words were witty. So they didn't mess with me with it, because hey, listen, I'm when I was growing up, I'm bringing your whole family up in there.
You had the jokes.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, you can talk about my skin if you want. I tell you what, I'm bringing a cousin, everybody up. I seen your cousin last week who came over here. Man, next thing you know, we're knuckling up, because I'm gonna go deep into the busing conversations, and I'm not gonna stop. Like, yo, it been 30 minutes. What you wanted? I'm like, you shouldn't have started with me, right? Don't start something you can't finish. Now, hey, I used to go in because I had to, you know. Especially you growing up, you're dark skinned, and back then, sister, I'm gonna tell you, Elder Barge had the game on lock, right? Mm-hmm. Elder Barge came in. I'm like, man, whose sister is that? Ooh, I like it. I'm like, man, that's a dude. You know. So, and then it wasn't until Wesley came that he delivered us. Man, he delivered us all out of darkness. Yeah. You know. So when Wesley came, that changed the game now. You right. So I'm gonna tell you. So when Lawya was telling you, it's not because of one person, it's because it was different shades of black. You have lighter skin, you have ruddy, which is light skin, like David was, a little lighter than dark. Then you have, hey, don't look down on me because I'm a little darker than the rest of you. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, so that's all that is. I'm going to tell you, when we grew up, it was something else on Diamond Street. Oh, yeah. They in there cracking up. Hey, when we grew up, that's how it was. But I'll tell you what. It's deep that we can read that Bible and can relate to it more so now. Right? With what we've gone through. There's no way a white guy can read that scripture and say, okay, that's me. They don't have that experience. Right? Mm-hmm. You got it?
I got it.
There you go. There you go.
Nothing's changed. It's still the same.
It's
Nothing's
still the same. People talking about colorist and this, that, and the other. We've always gone through stuff like that. And it's okay. The Most High made us different shades of brown and and we all have our unique place with the Almighty when it comes to our skin tone, when it comes to who we are as a people. And it's deep that now you can now read Solomon, the Songs of Solomon, and relate to what? The fact that we are the same people. White people could not have made those statements. See that?
Yes.
So somebody now tell me again, how is the Bible a white man's book? No, it's our book. Okay? And who are we? We're the children of Israel. And yes, we are back. Elder Lawya, thank you. And let's get ready for Saturday, in the Hebrew Bible Academy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's do it.
My brother. With that, Shalom, I hope this lesson, Shalom, sister, hope this lesson have given you detailed history and information to back everything when it comes to defending the Word of God, and above all, proven that the Bible has always been a black man's book. But not just any black man in particular, because Hamites are dark-skinned. This book belongs to the children of Israel, and we are the chosen people. And Christ is Lord. With that, may the Most High be with us. Stay prayed up, sin not. We will soon see Israel, and yes, we are the children of Israel, and y'all know it. We are back. Brothers and sisters, have a great, great evening. Shalom. Let's go. Good night, Elder Rawchaa. HistoryTimes.org. Go to HistoryTimes.org to enroll. Blessings.
The Arabs and Africans told us, together our wives and children then sold us. In the belly of these great ships we traveled in fear. By the rivers of Babylon we found our brothers here. Gather us in Colombia, Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans. Gathering Israel, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians. Gathering Reuben from Australia, Issachar, the Mexicans. That's who we be. Judah, the Negroes, Benjamin, the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Valley from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, Gad, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans.